Right, so in today's class, we are going to be looking at how to set up QuickBooks Online, which is now the cloud version of the QuickBooks that we have already done. Now, in this class, you know that if you're using the QuickBooks Cloud version, it is not a free application, it is a paid application because you are trying to integrate your accounting system. Though even the desktop version is not free, but by virtue of you joining the class, you were able to get access to it, and that is not possible with QuickBooks Online. Now, in this class, we are going to use a free 30 days trial to set up, and just for the purpose of teaching, to set up this system, right? So when we do that, then we can see we can now compare the difference between QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, which is the cloud version, the one we are about to do today. Now, all you need to do is to come over to your browser, any browser at all. You can be using Google Chrome, you can be using Microsoft Edge, you can be using Firefox, any browser at all, and you type in this address, quickbooks.intuit.com. Now it will give you this, what you are seeing on your screen, and this is the welcome screen. Now, for you, if you are a US based citizen, or if you are based in US, right, you can just go ahead and visit US based site. But if you are visiting from anywhere outside the US, you use global site, right? This will automatically convert every details that is on the site to your region or to wherever location you are entering from, right? That's why this is available, so that it will integrate all other setup. Now, one thing you should understand about QuickBooks is that it is regionally set up. What do I mean by it's regionally set up? It is up to date with the activities or the affairs of the government in that area. If there are certain rules that does not apply to certain accounting rules, certain business rules that does not apply to your own region, that is already in the QuickBooks application, which is the online version, it automatically filter that out for you. Now, instances is in the area of tax. Now, QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, or QuickBooks itself understand that Nigeria is Nigerian charge, what do I call it, value added tax, which is 7.5%. So when it comes to setup, it automatically does that for you, because once you select Nigeria, it will apply that for you, right? So let's go ahead, let's see how to do it. So if you are visiting from Nigeria outside the US, right now we are visiting from Nigeria, so what I will do is I'll just click go to global site. So once you click on that global site, you can see that it will bring you to this site. Now, this is to tell you that QuickBooks is doing everything possible to make sure that even the accounting field is automated. Now, that's what I keep telling people. I said, you can, let's say you're an accountant and you don't know how to use automated tools, like you are just waiting, or you just sit down and be waiting and say, okay, these automated tools are not meant for accounting. No, automated tools, AI is for everybody. There's AI in every field. So accounting too is not an exception. Accounting is not an exception. So there's AI everywhere. You can see that automation where it counts, human when it matters. So whether you like it or not, there are things that you do every day that you would like to automate. You want a machine to do it for you so that you save time and focus on other things. Then there are things that there is no how you can do it without human input. For instance, entering data. Yes, automation, you can automate data too, but there is always a human input. Human being must always initiate that, so that the rest people can just automate that. Let's take for instance, if you want people to automate your records, let's say you have an invoice, a paper invoice that a client sent for you. All you need to do is to, if you don't want to type out those things manually into wherever you're going to input them, all you need to do is to what? All you need to do is to snap it and upload it. Then people will scan it and extract those figures for you, and you will now direct it where to post it. That's as simple as that. So you can see that AI is already in everywhere. Now, before we go ahead in signing up, let's look at some of the pricings of QuickBooks to see how we are going to use it. to see what we need actually. Now, remember, like I said, it is not for free. Quickbooks is not for free, right? So you have to pay. Quickbooks Online is not for free. You have to pay for it before you start using it. And there are different packages that you can use, or there are different plans you can use here. Now let's go and review the plans one after the other. We have the starter plan. Now the starter plan, in the starter plan, you build your financial foundation. That this is just to build your understanding on the QuickBooks, right? So if you look at it, let me expand this. Now if you look at it, what you're going to get in the starter plan is just the income and expense and invoice and code. So these are the only thing you can get there, though you can still view other features, right? So you can see these are other features, but no, everything is here. Now you also have AI assisted bank feeds, right? You have AI assisted bank feed, which means that you can automate your banking transactions. So these are the only thing you can find in the starter plan, and it's only meant for one user access only. Now we have the essential. Now you can see this is a price tag, what you're going to be paying every month. You're going to be paying 2,863 points, let's say 693 as the monthly subscription fee. If you want it to be in annual subscription fee, you can as well change that, right? You can just change that. So you can see, okay, this one I've switched over from buy now to 30 days trial, right? So this is it. This is how it is. So buy now to 30 days free trial. Anyway, all the plans here have a 3 days 30 trial that you can start with. All the plans have 3 days 30 days trial. Now we have the essential. In the essential, you have a maximum of 3 users, right? A maximum of 3 users. Then in addition to whatever that is here, you have bill management and you have multi-currency. That's in addition to whatever that is in the simple start. Now we have the plus. Now plus is the most recommended. Why? Because it has other features, right? It has features like the inventory tracking, right, which is very, very important if you are dealing on inventory, if you are dealing on inventory item, or if you are selling an inventory item, right? That's physical goods and services. Then it has a maximum of 5 users, right? It has a maximum of 5 users. The same thing we have in our desktop. That's a maximum of 5 users. Then it has inventory tracking, have budget, we have recurrent transactions, we have class and location, right? These are the features you can find there, and also have all the features have AI assistant, just that every plan has a better AI assistant, AI that does something. Yeah, there is always an advance in each one. So then we have the advance. The advance, you can see that per month you're paying 12,000 plus, while in the the plus you are paying 6,000 plus for a monthly subscription. Then we have every other thing that is in 1, 2, 3. Then addition of customer access by row, unlimited class and locations, custom reports building, workflow automations, the data syncing with Excel. So all this you can find in the advanced plan. So workflow automation too you can find there. So but in this class we are not going to go with advanced, or rather, since we are using a 30 days free trial, let's go with the advanced so that you can see the few features of QuickBooks. Let's choose advanced plan. So all you need to do is just click on advanced plan. So when you click on advanced plans, it will bring up the pricing for you, and it will still ask you whether you want to do a free 30 days trial. A free 30 days trial first before you proceed. I think that should be it. A free 30 days trial. Okay, now I am having an issue here, so let me go back first. Okay, good. So I'm here, coming back to my plan. Coming back to my pricing. I want the free 30 days trial. I want the free 30 days trial first. So I want to go with now. Let me choose it first. so you're here, it will ask you to do what? It will ask you to fill up your information. So I'll not use any of this my emails again because I've used them in the past, so it will not going to log in. So I will set up using another different email, right? So use the company email address is advisable. Then name, I will go with right, I'm going with Charity. I'm going with Charity as the first name. Then I'm going with this as the second name. Just fill out the information, right? If you fill out the information, then you set your own password. So I'm setting my own password. Right, so the password must be a combination of capital letter, 8 characters or more. Then use upper and lower case letter, use a number, and use a symbol, right? So you put phone number here, and this phone number should be either your own, or in fact it's advisable you use the company's information, because you may not be in the company forever, you may change company someday, so it's better you use the company's details. So I'm using this number. Don't put my number anyway, I will blind that place out. So I'm going to use this number. So let's go with so you can expand this. So you have to leave the space for the country code. Yeah, I think country code. Please protect your account. We will send you whatever. Put a valid phone number. Let's say so plus. All right. So once you do that, you just go ahead and click create. What is this? Access denied. This is another thing. Why is access denied? Alright, so what I did is that I changed the plan, maybe because of my location. The plan I selected was a little bit maybe hard or too big for my location, so I changed it to, instead of advanced, to plus. So that is why we are having here. So once I did that, I clicked that create Intuit account. So I have this, and I type in my number. They send me a code. Now I'm going to use this code to activate it. Now they send me a code, so I will type the code. That is why it's important that whatever phone number you are using, the phone number should be valid, right? I will enter the code now to activate the plan. So I've entered the code. It's a 6-digit code, so I'll just click on continue. Right, so once I click on continue, we have this. Right, so my account has been your request could not be processed. Okay, this is something, I think this is a technical issue now. All right, so I don't know, let me see if I can escalate this option. So just like I said, we enter this again. I change browser. Let me see if the problem is from browser, otherwise we should be set to go right now. So we enter the code that is sent to you. Once you enter the code, you can then click continue. This should work. If it doesn't work now, that means it's a problem from their own end. Right, so this account wouldn't take long, so you can see it's processing. Let's see, the error message is going to display again. So as we are waiting, you can see, as we are waiting, our account is being created. So you can see that the setup is almost done. We just have to be patient and wait for it to complete. Once that is done, then we can move on to other things. So the most difficult part of it is creating the account, making the payment. Right now we are using the free 30 days trial. Right, so I think our account is set, and this is the first time I'm also seeing this because of the new integrations and the new the update they are making on the site. So So I'll go ahead and click on let's get started. So click on let's get started. Right, so the first thing it's asking me is for starters, what's your business called? So what is your business name? Remember when we did company setup in desktop? So that is what this is asking us. So I will still go ahead with my typical business name. You already know by now. So let's say my business name is still going to be Ome Foods or Ome Distribution. Distribution company Ltd. Right, so this is the business name. That's what he's asking you here, right? At this point, or when I'm making this class, this is what it is asking, right? In your own time, or sometime when you want to also create your own company, the language may be different, but one thing that will always stand out is this: your legal business name. You will always see it defined in this way. So you go ahead and click next. Now when you click next, the next thing is asking you, you can see that in bold we have Umi Distribution Company Limited, right? In bold you have the name there. It's not asking you of industry, which it says is optional, but of course we know that industry is important. We say distribution, wholesale and distribution, right? Wholesale and distribution. So we look for it the same way we look for it in our now wholesale trade. So you go ahead and click on wholesale trade, no problem. So go ahead and click on wholesale trade. Now depending, that's my nature of business, that's what I know I want to do, that's what I know my company is all about, right? So that's what I'm choosing. So you choose based on that. So now he's asking you again if your company is a limited liability company, is a sole proprietorship, or is a company incorporation, right? So we say it's an incorporation, a single person incorporated entity. But let's go ahead and say company, right? So let's go ahead and say company. Now if we say private limited liability company, of course private limited liability company. So depending on whatever your business nature is, you can go ahead and do that. So let's click next. Now the next question is what is your role in this? That's me that is setting up this account. Now what is my role? So what is my role? Am I the owner? Am I the accountant? Am I the employee? Am I the bookkeeper? Am I the employee? So I'm just going to say I am the owner, because of course it's the owner that is supposed to set up this setting. So you're using the owner's detail to make this setting. So I am the owner or partner. So how many employees do you have? Remember all these questions we have asked them during our desktop version, right? For now we're dealing with the cloud version. We are answering the same questions. So let's go ahead and say, okay, our employee ranges between let's say 10 to 25 or 25 to 50, anyone. So I'm going to 10 to 24. So go ahead and click next. Now you know the basics. Let's keep going. So now is the accounting setup. So what do you want to see? This will help your business run smoothly, quickly. Pick one that will do the rest after, right? So you can see this is just what do we say, link bank account to link bank credit card to whatever. Do this first, find out more later, but you just need to select one of these options. So I'm just going to go ahead and select one of these options. All right, so we'll go ahead and click. Now we want to link bank account. It is not mandatory. I must not link my bank account right now, but if you want to link your bank account, what it means by linking your bank account is that anytime there is a transaction in your bank account, it will automatically enter your Quickbooks as well. You see, that is where the automation comes in. That's where the AI comes in play, right? You automatically link your bank transaction to this. Now what happens is that once you link it, as the transaction is occurring in your bank account, it will also enter Quickbooks. So when you log into Quickbooks, you don't actually need to wait for month's end again to get your bank statement before you start doing reconciliation. So when you get those bank statements, because you see the bank transaction with the details of what the transaction is, and because you are the one that initiated that transaction, you can know how to assign it to whatever account you want to assign it. But in this case, we are not going to link our bank account. I'm going to go ahead and just click skip for now, right? So I'll skip this for now. Now when you do that, now Quickbooks is one of the most interesting applications you can find anywhere, right? It has a mobile version that you can use. You must not carry your desktop everywhere. You can use desktop version. Remember, like I told you, you can just use, if you have a receipt you want to update, you can just snap the receipt. That's the illustration you're seeing right here. You snap the receipt. Now when you snap the receipt, and Quickbooks will help you upload that immediately. right? So that is it. So it has a mobile app, it has both on iOS and it has on Android. So you click on next, right? We'll do that one later. So when you do that, now the next thing is set up your invoice. How do you want your invoice to look? If you have logo, if you have anything. So let's go ahead and click on set up invoice first. Let's see. Now if you click on set up invoice, you have this option which is not coming up. Let's go ahead and click next. So if you click next, this is how your invoice is going to appear. So the sender email is going to be this, right? This is the company email address that is going to send it, right? So this is your sample invoice. So this is it. So this is how your invoice is going to look. So you can always change that later. So you can just go ahead, review and approve, keep this and go ahead with what we are doing. So you click on next. So when you click on next, you have another setup to do. So choose your choice. Help personalize your setup. You can still use every part of QuickBooks. Remember what I told us in the last section of the class that I made on QuickBooks, where I told us that sometimes there are things you may be looking for, but you don't know where to find them. You cannot find them actually, and it becomes problem. It becomes so hard for you, and I showed you how to go about finding those things. All you need to do is to know that thing you are looking for. If you know exactly what you're looking for, you can always call it up in QuickBooks, especially in desktop. Now I want to tell you something very interesting. Even though we are using cloud version of the desktop, now the desktop version is more handy to handle than this particular one, because everything here is automated, and you don't have total control on whatever you are doing in QuickBooks cloud version. But in the desktop version, you have total control. You can manipulate the accounts the way you can do the setup the way you want to do. But most of these setup here are automated by QuickBooks. Now they already know the rules, and they already know the laws that apply to certain areas, so they automatically do that for you. So here, if you don't know what to do, you can as well skip, right? So choose personalize. You can just go ahead and skip. Let's skip this for now. We are going to do that much later, right? Now we are getting started, right? So our company is getting ready. So let's go ahead and click on let's go. Click on let's go. Now we have this. So QuickBooks is onboarding us so that we can start implementing our setup, right? While this is going on, let me quickly be saying something. Now when it comes to implementation of accounting system, there are key things that you must bear in mind, and I know, or maybe I have not, right? There are things you must bear in mind. Number one is that you must know the type of business you are dealing with, as the industry you're dealing with, right? You must know that, because that will help you in doing the setup. Number two is that you must know the law, the tax law. When I'm talking about law, I'm talking about the tax law or the accounting laws that applies to that business, that applies to that particular business, and that applies to that particular region, right? Then number two is that you must, first of all, number three is you have to know the chart of account. Knowing the chart of account means that you have to know what and how the business operates. You have to know how the business operates, right? If you know that, it becomes easy for you to set up the chart of account for them. Then number four, and very important, is the tax section. Now this tax section is something that if you make mistake, you have to start afresh. You will have to start afresh. You will start afresh, or you start, if you're using QuickBooks Online, you start calling QuickBooks, oh, I made mistake in this my tax setup, and I need to correct that. That is the only time they will help you and reset that. But if you're using desktop, that's why I say it's very handy. You can always fashion that and create another company. So desktop is kind of more handy. But if you make mistake in your tax settings, it will mess a whole lot of things for you, right? So these are the few things I want you to know, right? So our QuickBooks is set up. We can see this is the person that logs in, the owner of the business is the person that is logged in. Now we have this. These are the things we need to do to get our system ready. Now a lot of people make this mistake that when they are setting up QuickBooks, they just create their account. All they need to do is just go ahead and start posting transactions. That's not how to do it. You have to lay the foundation of how you want your system to run. And that's what I keep telling people, that you must understand the business. You must consider how the business runs. If there are things you need to optimize or you need to remove, then you will remove them in the process of integration. But if not, you have to improve the system. You have to make sure that you set up the system in a way that even the person that is going to be operating it is going to find it easy to understand whatever he or she is doing. Now that our setup is done, so now that we have created the account, what we did is create a QuickBooks Cloud account, right? So when we come back in the next section, we're going to look at how to do few setups. Now, the setup I'm talking about is number one, very important setup we must do is our tax setup. That is what we are going to do when we come back, right? That's number one. Then number two is the chart of account. We have to use our own chart of account. If it is to upload it, if it is to type it or create it in QuickBooks, we do that. Then our customers, and then our vendors, then of course the items or services that we render. So these are the 5 most critical things we must do when we return, and see you in the next class. All right, welcome back to class. Now let's look at what we have here. We have a kind of reminder here. That's tax. Under this tax you're seeing, and that's what we are supposed to do. Now we have the basic setup. Now this is the basic setting we should do. Now we have done 0 of 2. So let's go ahead and see what the setting is. You click on it. Now the first one is say complete your account setup, right? So let's go ahead and click complete account setup and see. Let's go. Click on this go, right? Even though we don't see it here, we can always go to our settings and you will find the option. So how long has this business been running? So that's the accounting setup. So how long has this business been running? So we can just go ahead and say no, because it's a new business under a year. So let's go ahead and say under a year. Go ahead and click next. Now, do you get help from bookkeepers? If yes, they have to be invited to create an account. That's if you have accountants or you have other people that will help you. Of course, we say yes. So let's go ahead and click okay. Yes, and then click next. Now we are all done here, so you go ahead and click on that. Now we'll go back to our dashboard again and complete other setups. These are minor setups, right? These are minor setups. So we have done 50% of that is completed. Now the next one is connect integration. So 1 of 1. So what is the integration they're asking us to do? Let's see. Tell us what you will want to use. So we actually don't want to use any integrated application or a third-party application in our QuickBooks. Now these are going to help in a long run, right? So I actually don't even need any of this, but let's say I want to use this. Let's say this is the one I want to use. If you are using more, you can go ahead and select any one you want to use, but I think I'm good with this. But let's go ahead and say done. Right, so we are done. Let's continue. Now that setup is done, 67% complete. So what other things do we need to do here that is not complete yet? So we have the accounting see the tax that is under there. Right, so this is bring in transaction to stay organized. So let's go ahead. But before we do that, I think these are just minor things that QuickBooks want to recommend. That is not my concern. My concern is to build this system in a way that you will understand. So these other ones we have been doing here are the ones that QuickBooks want to help us and do because of the AI features that is in need. All right, so let's do the one that we know first. Right, so let's come to do any setting at all. You have to come to your setting. So if you want to do any settings, you come to your setting. Right, once you open your setting, now we have all the list of the items, list of the settings we are going to do. Number one setting we have here is under the company, which is account and settings, right? Account and setting, which is this. Then we have the manage users, that's assign users, remove users, whatever, the custom form that customize your invoice, your sales order, and chart of account. Then we have payroll. Now it may interest you to know that payroll in every accounting setting, every accounting software is an additional application. It's an additional thing, so it is not always a free tool. That's why you're seeing this is it diamond, right? Yeah, this diamond sign you're seeing means it's very it's not something you do alone, and that's why we have a lot of HR applications, right, that are operating. So you can choose to use the QuickBooks own, which is going to look at the entire. One sweet thing about QuickBooks is that it's going to look at the setup, the tax system of Nigeria, or the tax structure of Nigeria. Then it will give you options regarding that. So we have the list, or we have all your lists, all your accounts, everything. We have the product and services. We have the recurring transaction attachment, custom field rules. We have import, export, cancel, reconcile, budgeting, audit logs to know people that have logged in or entered transactions. So all this. But what we are going to do here is under account, right? So under account. So let's look at under account. What do we have under account? Now under account we have what I want to look for here is my sales and my sales tax. That's very important. I have to set up my tax first, so that QuickBooks we know what I'm about to do. So under company we have these options. You can go ahead and do whatever correction you want to do, but what I said I want to do is under tax identification. So I can put my tax identification number here, right? I can put my tax identification number here, right? So I will put it, but remember this is just a free trial, right? So this is just a free trial. Now that I don't have my thing yet, I'll just leave it blank. Now website I don't have yet, I'll leave it blank. Now address, yeah, address is important. I can decide to put address, right? So just click edit, and your streets, this is going to be, I'm just going to use any streets. Okay, I'll just use this. So let's go ahead and right. So why is it not saving? Okay, if you don't want to save, I'll leave you. I'll leave you. So the next one is sales. Now let's see under this sales. Now under this sales we have preferred invoice terms 30 net 30 days. We have shipping off. We have customer transaction number. Yes, we have service date off. We have discount. We can say let's leave discount. Let's make discount active. Let's say our discount account is going to be active. Right, we have the deposit. You know, remember when I talk about the deposit, this thing undeposited fund. So that is it, right? So let's go ahead and save this like that. I'm done with that. That's the only thing I want to do there. Now we have the payment, no custom payment instructions yet, so we can just leave that. Then we have the what? We have the product and services. We have turn on price rules, right? We can decide to that. We have track quantity and price rate. Yes, we have track inventory quantity on hand. Yes, track inventory valuation setup, select method, right? So if anyone you don't understand, so if you look at this question mark, you can always click on it to define that for you, define what that does. So you have to select the inventory method you want to use. So if you want to use weighted average method or moving average method or first in first out, I think first in first out is ideal. So select the inventory method, which is the first in first out, right? So first in first out. Now track inventory for sales channel. I don't know what it means, but let me just go ahead and track it. Cannot turn on track for sales channel. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Let's forget that. So once you do that, you click save, right? So when you click on save, right, we have set up that. Now the next one is your invoicing progress. Do you charge, do you issue in progress invoicing? No. Do we have default message? You can just leave that. We have reminders, email. So automate invoice reminder. So let's go ahead and turn that on. So these are some of the things that even when you are not aware, QuickBooks can do that for you. So how many reminders do you want QuickBooks to send? You have 3 reminders, so you can go ahead and do that. So save, and that is it. So we have this. Now we also have online delivery email options for sales of form and other things. So when you're done here, come to your expenses. I still did not see. Let's say this is done. Yes, I still did not see my tax, which is very, very concerned, because that is the reason why I am even doing the setup in that place. So I need to see my tax setup. I need to see it. So let's go back again. Accounts and settings. Account and settings. All right. So I think this class will be suspended for now because my battery is already down. When we return back, we are going to look into the tax section, right? We're going to look at that. So we stop at this sales. So when we come back, we're going to look at the tax area. So thank you very much, and see you in the next section. Hello guys, welcome back to class. In the previous section, we were trying to set up our tax, right? And my battery went down. Now we have light, and we're going to continue from where we stopped, because it's been a while since then to now. So whenever you log out of QuickBooks, automatically QuickBooks will log you out even though you did not log out for a while. Like I think 30 minutes if you are not active, QuickBooks is going to log you out from your account. So from here you can see all you need to do is to just type account.intuit. If account.intuit, or you just type Intuit and click sign in, it will bring you to this page. So if you have this page now, it's showing that I have an account already with Intuit. So if this is the account I want to log in with, then I'll go ahead and click it. If this is what I want to log in with, then I can as well go ahead and click on use a different account. But this is the account I want to log in with, so I'll just click on it. So once you click on it, it will prompt you to enter your password. So what I'm going to do is to type my password, right? So I'll type my password that I used during the setup. So once that is done, I'll just click continue. So right, if I want to save this password here, I can go ahead and just click save. Otherwise I'll just say not now. So it will process and log in back to QuickBooks, right? So this is it, it's processing. Now this is cloud-based QuickBooks, or QuickBooks accounting, the cloud version of it, which is the cloud accounting. When you hear cloud accounting, this is what it means. It means you can access this your company details anywhere you are, from any mobile phone, from any device you have anywhere around the world. You can access your companies in as much as you have the login details. All right, so this is it. Now here, this is where we were. So here I can decide to change the company logo. I can just click on this icon, then I'll upload any company logo, right? So I'm just going to use, I'll just use any company logo of my choice, right? In your own case, I don't think you are going to see these things. You have to look for the logo, your own logo. Don't look at my own. So you have to look for your own logo. I think I have a logo, something like that. Okay, just locate where your logo is and insert that. So I think that's it, right? So why am I not seeing the logo? Okay, let me increase this. All right. Okay, yeah, I just want to be seeing the logo. If it is here, I have a logo, of course. I see, this is the logo I want to use, right? So this is the logo I want to use. Your own logo may be different, so you just go ahead and do that. So once this is done uploading, it should be able to tell us done, right? So it's processing, right? It's processing, and this logo, we are paying all of our invoices, right? So let's wait for it. Right, you can see that the logo has been uploaded, and this is done. So I can just go ahead and close this, and you can see it as well on top of this place. I'll just close it, and this is it. So here we don't have any other thing. I'll just go ahead and click
done. Right, so we are done with that part. Right, the setting is saying that we have done 2 of 3. What's the next thing to do here? Right, so let's go ahead, let's see again. Let's see what do we need to do. So here is saying that tell us what's integration. So I have gone through this before, and the next one is to import your data from Excel and all of those if you don't have any, but for now we don't have any. So my consign, like I told us, my consign is on the tax. Right, on the tax I think we should come to accounting. All right, if you come to accounting, we should be able to see the tax. The tax should be somewhere around here. All right, so I don't know why it's taking. Right, there are a lot of changes that they have made on this. Right, so you can see more. Under the more, this is an app, it's not it's an app. All right, so if you come to this place, you're seeing more. Right, if you this place, you're seeing more. It may change by the time you want to do your own setup, but this is it. All you are looking for, tax. So we are looking for tax. This is tax. Now you point at this tax, you see this arrow, and you click on overview. So once you click on that overview, you will see getting this, because this is the first time we're doing this setup. So I'll just click got it. Right, so you can see that set up VAT and set up tax. All right, because the tax I can set up in QuickBooks is what will I call it, is VAT. That's sales tax or value added tax. That's why you're seeing it here. That's the tax I'm going to set up. I can set up automatically in QuickBooks. Right, so what I will do is that I'll click on set up. So when I click on setup, now QuickBooks automatically identify the region where I am operating from. So you can see that let's set up with the right tax codes for Nigeria. So because we're in Nigeria, that's why we are saying this. So I'll just click on next. Every other thing, just click on next. So if you click on next, now it's asking you what is your tax period. Start of tax period, you say January, and it's recognizing the Federal Inland Revenue Service. And of course we know that the name Federal Inland Revenue Service has changed. It's no longer Federal Inland Revenue Service, or maybe the reason why QuickBooks have not changed this right now, because the system is still being tested. The tax law has been effective right from January of 2026. Right, it's now effective, but because they are doing some changes, or that they're doing some implementations, that it is not yet active, so the name Federal Inland Revenue Service still remains. That's what I'm telling you, that in QuickBooks Online, most of these things is automated. It is not like it's not handy like the one on desktop. So in desktop version you will have more control, but not on the VAT setting. VAT settings is done once you make any mistake in setting up your VAT, you can't change it anymore. VAT setting can be done once, right? So that's why you have to be very, very conscious. You have to pay close attention to what we are doing here. Now the start of tax period is January. Yeah, we're going to leave it on January. Now filing frequency, how often do you file? Of course we know that file is filed at the end of every month. That's when you file, so we can say that is filed every month. We file our VAT every month, right? So what is the reporting period? Is based on accrual basis. That means the tax of January will be paid in February. The tax of February will be paid in March. The tax of March will be paid in April. So that is what we mean by accrual. Now what is the name of the VAT? Right, what is the name of the VAT? Of course is VAT in Nigeria. That's why we have it here. So I can just go ahead and leave it as VAT. Right, so then here if you have your TIN number, you can put your TIN number. Otherwise you can go ahead and click next. Right, but it's optional. You can come back to it later. So click next. Okay, now I'm having a problem. There is a problem somewhere. Right, so I don't know why this is. So like I told you guys, this is it. Sometimes QuickBooks made some changes that maybe I was not aware, but before now this place can be left empty, and this VAT can be left. Right, so here I don't know, is it, this is VAT. Normally it's supposed to be as a value added tax. supposed to be rate, but I don't know the actual thing they are asking for, value added tax. So let's leave it here like this. Now let's go ahead and click. I added a tin number. This is actually my tin number, right? So I added it. So in your own case, you have to add your own company tin number. This tin number means tax identification number. Tax identification number. So let's go ahead and click on next. Right, so because this information now are complete, that's why it is now okay. So there I think I have committed a blunder, right? I think I have committed a blunder, because normally what I'm supposed to have is the rate, but I did not see the rate section, and what I am seeing is all right. So this is the blunder I'm telling you about. So once you commit it, it's very difficult because it's something you cannot change again. So let me see again. Now the tax rate, which is now supposed to be, what I'm supposed to have is the tax rate. Let me see. Edit setting. Okay, edit rate. Thank God. Thank God. Oh, it have identified the tax rate in Nigeria. Oh, thank God for that. So you can see that we have the 7.5% value added tax right in it, and I don't need to add the rate again, and it has automatically set that up. So thank God. That's why I have to be very careful in that regard. So what I did here is that because I am conscious of what I was doing, I am sure of what I was doing, I'm supposed to have a space where I can input my rate, but because I did not see that section, and I was confused. But when I returned back to view the tax settings, I now saw that because I have already selected Nigeria, right, because I selected Nigeria earlier on when I was doing the setup, so it was able to identify the tax rate. So all I needed to do was the information I feel were actually accurate. So they were accurate, right? So that is it. So you can edit the VAT rate here. You can edit the VAT rate from here too, right? So these are the VAT rate. We have VAT on sales, that sales tax. We have 7.5% is on. We have exempt import. This thing we have. All these are VATable items, or they are VAT settings for Nigeria, and they are all active, so that I don't even need to do anything again. So these are settings you need to do once and for all, and when you are able to get these settings once and for all, it becomes easy for you. So the number one setting I told you that you must pay attention to, I say, one, your VAT is very, very important. You have to make sure that you set up your tax setting. Your tax setting is accurate. If your tax setting is accurate, every other thing is good, right? Every other thing can be corrected as you progress, but your VAT setting is very, very important. Then number two is your what? Number two is your chart of account, right? Your chart of account. So that's what we're going to do when we return to in fact, let's do it here, right? It's just 11 minutes. So in your what will I call it, chart of account. Now come to your account here, right? If you come to your account, you see chart of account. Just click on chart of account, right? When you click on chart of account, these are the list. Quickbooks is going to give you the list of chart of account imported for you. Now these are all the list of chart of account that Quickbooks has imported for you, right? By default, we always have that in Quickbooks desktop as well, but I have prepared something. I have a chart of account I think I'm going to use, or not this. I have a chart of account I think I'm going to use. So this is the chart of account I want to use. Now this is the chart of account I'm going to use. So I will I will import this in Quickbooks, right? So I'll come back to Quickbooks. I will now go to new, right? New here. I will now click import, right? This is new. If I click on new to open a new, this is for me to type in the account I want to do, but I want to import. So I'll just click on the arrow here. So if I click on the arrow here, I'll just click import. Right, so I'll click import. So when I click import right now, so these are the options I'm going to have, right? So here I will browse the name of the file. Yeah, so the name of the file I'm going to browse is this. I say QBO, that's the name I use in saving it, and I think I save it somewhere here. Right, so this is it. I saved it in Excel. Sorry for the noise. I just needed to record this section because I may not have the time to record it again, so sorry for the noise. Right, so let's go ahead. When you click here, when you select the file, you must have prepared your file already. you must have prepared a file in Excel or a CSV file, then you upload it. So this is it. I'll just click on upload, right? I'll just click on it. Now it is here. So what I will need to do, so I can actually connect to Google Sheet as well. So you can see here I can connect to Google Sheet. So after I've uploaded it, the next thing is to map the data. So I'll just go ahead and click here. Now QuickBooks have recognized that I've uploaded the file. So the next thing I'm going to do is, now you can see that account name, item name. No, this is not actually what I want. This is not this thing. So what it means is that I need to upload these files separately. I need to upload them separately. So it is identifying the item as, it is identifying the account name as item name, which is not what I want it to do, because the file is I think it's 3-in-1 files, a bit 4. So I will extract this separately. So what I will do is I will now save this separately, so I can import it separately as well, right? So all this thing is happening because I am conscious of what I'm doing. I know what I am doing, or I know what I am doing actually. So that's why I have to pay attention to this. So this is, I will save as this, right? So then I will delete this other account. I'll delete this other account. Yes, right. In your own case, you have to do it individually. You have to do it individually. You may not have it like this here. So what I will do next, right, so what I will do next, save this, then go back to QuickBooks. Now go back to QuickBooks and I'll click back, then I will remove this file, then browse, and then save this new one. Now you can see that the mapping is going to be different. So once I am done, I'll just click next. Now the mapping is account name, account number. Do I have account number? Let me check. Do I have account number? Right, so I don't have account number. Account name. Now description or account description. So I'll go back and see. Now account description, do I have account details? Right, we have account details. Account details is what? Account details is this. Now account details is this. That's the account details type is this, which is the current assets, current liability, and all those account details. Now I'll still go back. I just want to make sure that everything is mapped correctly. So we don't have account number, we don't have any tax code. So this is it. So I'll just go ahead and preview. Now you can see this is the account. Now cash account is going to be cash and cash equivalent, right? So I'm now mapping it is what is current asset, is cash at hand. So in this case is cash at hand. Now in bank, so bank is what? Cash and cash equivalent, right? And it's going to be bank, right? So this is also bank, cash and cash equivalent, right? Then I will now say is also bank, right? Now we have account receivables. Now this is going to be account receivables, right? And it's going to be what? Is going to be receivables. Now this is inventory. So inventory is inventory. You have to look for it. Inventory is inventory. So you can see how we are taking this slow. So inventory, why am I not seeing inventory? Inventory is current asset, right? Inventory should be current asset, right? Inventory is current asset. So I'll come here and select look for inventory, right? Inventory is current asset. Now I'll also come here. Now you have to pay attention to this, because all those ones that are marked in red means that they have not found, QuickBooks have not found the exact match for them. So you have to assign it. So this is prepaid expenses. Prepaid expenses is a current asset, right? It's a current asset. So we have to look for current asset. Prepaid, that's payment you made in advance, is current asset. So it's current asset. Now we can go here and do what? Also match it to that current asset. If you do not see current asset, you can use other current asset, right? So it's going to be other current asset here. Now we have staff advances. The loan you give to your staff is also going to be current asset. Then we'll go ahead and map it to what? Map it to our other current asset, because that's the only options we have. Okay, employee cash advance, right? So you can see that we have employee cash advance. Now we have delivery van is an asset, is a fixed asset. Now here is going to be It's going to be delivery van, machinery, okay, vehicle, right? So we have vehicle, we have this is also going to be warehousing equipment. This is going to be other fixed asset. We can put it under other fixed asset, right? We have this, we have furniture and fittings. This is also going to be under furniture and fittings. So you can see these ones that are marked. We have office equipment, we have office equipment, so it's going to also be under other fixed asset, right? We have accounts payable, so it's going to be account payables. So this is it, right? So this is all right. Depreciation is also accumulated depreciation, right? So accumulated depreciation on property. Then we have this is going to be this, right? So you can see all these ones that are mapped. You have to go through them one after the other and make sure you fix them before you import. So I will pause right now and finish it. Then when I am done, then you can see the outcome.
Alright guys, welcome back. Now as we have seen earlier on, I have finished mapping out the account, and the accounts I don't want to import, all I did is just uncheck them, right? Just like this cleaning and sanitation that I don't want, I'll just uncheck it. All the ones I don't want, I just uncheck it. Or maybe because I don't understand how to assign them, I can just uncheck them for a moment. Then when I understand better, I can go ahead and create that account. It's not difficult. I'm still going to show you how to do that, right? So this is it. I have mapped out the account. I have assigned the account to what they do, right? To the appropriate head. Now we have the account type. You have to know the account type, right? Where we have either it's going to be assets, liability, income, or expenses. We have 4 flows of accounting, like I told us earlier on. We have 4 flows of accounting, right? This is my own invention, right? So we have the income, expenses, asset, and liability, right? Now here all of them are categorized there, right? It can either fall under one of these accounts. Then if you want to know what the account is does in details, you can just go ahead and click on the type of account in details. You see how to assign it. We have the TVS code. I don't even know what it means. This is the first time I'm seeing it, right? So I will just ignore that since it's not compulsory, right? So you can see that I have assigned all the account. I have already mapped all the accounts, right? I'm done. Now when I'm done with this, I can just go ahead and click on import. So if you click on import, it's going to import all the accounts you have mapped, right? Now we are having problem. So every other account, we have 31 of 35 accounts successfully imported, but these accounts are not imported. Why? Because one, prepaid expenses is a current asset, yes, but here why is it not here? Now it's possible that this account is already available in Quickbooks, so that is why we are not seeing this. We couldn't import some of your data because it already exists. Now you can see that some of these accounts are already in the system, so there's no need of importing them again. That's one thing Quickbooks will do for you. Now you also bear in mind that there are other accounts in the chart of account that you have not created and that comes with Quickbooks. So we are going to see the list of those accounts. So since this is the case, we are just going to go ahead because it has imported that means that imported everything. So we are just going to go ahead and go out of this place, even though we did not do any further thing. So we can just go ahead and close this, right? So if you close, do you want to leave without saving? Yes, I want to leave without saving. Now it has already imported the account that matters. So you can see these accounts were already created. They are available in Quickbooks and you can see all of them. Now another tips I want to give you, remember when we organized our chart of account in when we are using the desktop version, we try to make sure that we organize the account in a way that it will be more professional. It will look more professional than just having the account scatter. Now if you are already here, you have already imported your chart of account, right, and you want to create another chart of account, all you need to do is to click on new account, right? Click on new account, then you type the account details, you fill the account details, you fill the name of the account, you select the type of the account, the details of the account, you mark it either as a sub account or you leave it as a head account like that, right? So this is it. Now these accounts, these are cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent means cash and bank, right? cash and bank. So these are cash and cash equivalent. I want to create a head account. I want to put it under a head account. I want to make it a sub account, right, under that name. So what I will do, I'll just right click, I'll just click on it. Okay, all right, let me come out from this place. Right, so this is the list of all the chart. Why am I going so far? All right, so you have to bear with me with the noise. Like I said, I just needed to record this section. I need to record this section. It's very, very important. If I don't do it now, I don't think I will have any other time to do it again. Right, so just bear with me. Now this does it. It's basically almost everything we did, but the difference is that the difference is in the setup, and it's because this is a cloud version of the Sage 50 of QuickBooks. Right, so that is it. Now we are going to look at, this is a chart of account, right? This is still the chart of account we are working on. Now I want to make each of these account like this account. Now this is cash on hand, right? I want it to be under this cash, or I want to rename this account and say, instead of cash and cash equivalent, I can decide to give it a name that I'm more familiar with, right, which is either cash and bank. Now this is going to be a head account that we carry this bank, this cash, this bank details, right? So what I'm going to do right now is just click here, right, click here and edit, right? If you click there, you edit it. Now I want to make it a sub account, right? So I'll just mark this account as a sub account of what I want to mark it, and put it as a sub account of cash and cash equivalent. So when I do that, I'll just click on every other thing. You can leave it on default and click on save. Now automatically it will be indented, right? It will be indented under the cash and cash equivalent. You can see that it's indented. The same thing I'll do here. I'll just mark it and then click on mark as sub account of cash and cash equivalent. Then I'll click on save. So it keeps your account more organized. It makes it more organized, so that when you look at it, okay, all these accounts are under the same class or are under the same thing, because cash, bank, all of them are under the same category. They are under cash and cash equivalent, which is cash and bank. Cash and cash equivalent means cash and bank, and either other asset that you can easily convert to cash immediately, right? Like bonds, like stocks, anyone, you can put it under cash and cash equivalent. So it's not only limited to cash and bank alone. So that is why you are seeing that option. Now let's go ahead. I don't know if this noise is too much, but I'm using mic. You should be able to reduce the noise, right? But no problem. If it is not, I will repeat myself. I'll start afresh, no problem. Now we have indented this. Now we have this we can leave it, because actually if we try to make this a sub account, it may not go, right? It may not go. But I don't need this to be I don't need these two accounts. I don't need this account for anything, right? So these two accounts that I'm having here, I don't need them for anything. So I can go ahead and make, you remember that in QuickBooks, so this is one of the most interesting thing about QuickBooks cloud version, that you cannot delete account. Like, that's why I keep saying that QuickBooks Desktop is more handy than QuickBooks Online, right? You can see here that we have two account receivables. I don't want that confusion, because all of these are doing the same thing. So I don't need this confusion, so I can just mark one as inactive, right? So I'll just mark this one as inactive. I'll just go ahead and mark it as inactive, right? So make inactive. So I'll just make it inactive, so that it will not that means it's deactivated. It will not actually be shown in our list of chart of account again, right? So because one of this is okay for us, right? So we have allowance for bad debt. Yeah, we can leave it. Allowance for bad debt, we can leave it. Is current asset, we can leave it. We have available for sales assets. These two, I don't actually know what to do with it, but I can just make it inactive. All these accounts that I don't have anything to do with, I can just make it inactive. So why are you seeing this? Even though you did not create those chart of account, QuickBooks imported them because of the account, based on the industry we selected, right? Based on the industry we selected, QuickBooks imported it for. So our inventory, we are going to leave it. Now finished goods, this is not a manufacturing company. It is not a manufacturing company, so we don't actually need anything finished goods. So I can just go ahead and make this inactive as well, right? You cannot rightly delete from QuickBooks Online. You cannot just delete any account in QuickBooks Online. This is because of security reasons, an accounting package. So you can just make it inactive, and this is handy because why I'm having the opportunity to do this right now, because I'm still doing the setup. That's why I can do all of this immediately. That's why I told you that if you are setting up any accounting system, you must first of all know what the account is. First of all, know the tax, right? Know how to set up tax is very important, because if you miss that, it's going to cause you a lot of problem. Then number two is you have to know their chart of account, the flow of information, how transaction flows in the organization, and that's the essence of the chart of account. It maps, it's just like the foundation upon which you build a house. That's the chart of account, is the foundation upon which every of your transaction will sit in. Every transaction will be building on that, right? So now we have the prepaid expenses, which is also a current asset. Now I can decide to create a another account that I'm going to call current asset, right? Then I'll put all of this current asset under that. Now this uncategorized account, all this uncategorized transaction, I can go ahead and say I don't actually need this, I don't know what they are. I can just mark them at once and just make them inactive, right? I'll make them inactive. Why? Right, uncategorized, I say you cannot delete this account because it is part of the online banking features. Okay, now let's go ahead, let's leave it. You can see, so you can just leave it like that, leave it the way it is. Maybe we can find a better name for that later, right? So let's go ahead. We have, now I'm just trying to walk you through the chart of account so that you can see that you can remove the other things that you don't need, because if you leave most of these things, it will at the end of the day confuse you the more. You may not know where to post which transaction and what transaction to post, right? So that's why I always like cleaning up my chart of account. I want to make it clean so that I can have something more professional to work with, right? So that is it, and you can do that on your own when you get your own system. And if you need help in setting up your chart of account, of course the platform is meant for us to ask questions and to do real life implementation of this system. So that is just it on the part of the chart of account. So when we come back, now we're going to look at how to set up our item, right? How to set up item when we return in the next section. So thank you very much and see you in the next section. All right guys, welcome back to class. Now in this section we are going to look at how to set up inventory item in QuickBooks Online. Now what we are going to do is move out from here. Right, so we are going to move out from here. You can just click on the QuickBooks icon you're seeing here. It will take you back to your desktop. Actually it's taking us to the settings, which is not what we want. I'll just close this. Right, so I can click on home. Right, just click on home. So when you click on home, it will bring you to this place. Now this is your dashboard, right? This is your dashboard. The next thing we want to do, like I said, we want to add new items. We want to add inventory items, the item we sell, right? The item we sell. So that is what we are going to do. Now part of what we did earlier on was to, so like I said, the first thing we are going to do is to make sure that we have enabled inventory tracking, which I know we have done it, but for the sake of this class we are going to do it again. So what I will do is to come to settings again. Right, when we come to our settings, so when you click on settings, you come to you come to account and settings. You click on account and settings, right? I place more emphasis on the setting more than even the transaction itself, because if you don't do the setting right, the transaction you're going to be posting is going to actually be wrong, right? So it's not going to reflect exactly what you want to do. That's why I always place emphasis, get the settings right. If the settings are right, then your transactions errors will be a little bit minimal, right? So let's go ahead and click on expenses, because we want to be able to track inventory. I know we have enabled that setting before, but I just want us to confirm that that is what we are doing, or that we have done that, right? So when you do that, you have to be patient with it because it's network based, right? So it's open, and what we actually want to do right now is to make sure that our purchase order is enabled. So our purchase order is enabled. If it is not, you can just click on it and enable purchase order. If you want to have custom input numbers, you can just go ahead and enable that too, right? If you also want to also have a default message that whenever you raise a purchase order, as you're sending it, it will be sending to it will also generate that message on below your purchase order to your vendor, so that you know your position or your stance. Right, then you can select default bill payment terms. What are the default bill payment terms on due on receive or whatever? So I can just go and say due on receive and leave it there. Now when we are done, we can just go ahead and click what will I say, just click done. Just click done. Right, click done and yes. So the next thing we are going to do is to add our inventory item. So what you are going to do is to come to your customers, right? So you come to your customers, right? So you can just see this arrow here where you are seeing my apps, right? So if you come to your customers, so I mean, when you come to this app right now, QuickBooks have changed a lot. Like I told us, that's changed a lot. So when you come to my app right here, you see sales and what, my app. Just click on this place, you see my app, just point at it, you open this box and this drop down. So you see sales and get paid. So when you point at it again, you will see the list, the options that are there. Anywhere you are operating in a computer and you see this arrow, it means there are other things that are not visible. So when you look at it, you have product and services. Now what we want to achieve here is to impute our inventory items. That's what we want to achieve right here. So what we are going to do is just click on product and services. You click on product and services, right? How did I get here? I came to my app, this breadcrumb you're seeing here, where you're seeing my apps, right? When you click on it, you come to your sales, right? Sales and get paid. When you point at it again, you see this option. So we want to add new inventory items, so you click on product and services, right? So when it is open, you will see it like this. Now like I told us, I have already pre-formatted and gotten myself ready for this, right? So I will go ahead and open this account again. Because I'm dealing with items, I will save this as item, right? I will just go ahead and duplicate, save this. So you don't necessarily need to do this. Now I can go ahead and say items, right? Because it's item that I'm dealing with here. So I will delete this. Yes, I will also delete this, so that I can only import that item, that list alone. So that's the only list I want to. So this is the only list I want to import. So I'll go ahead and save it. Then I'll go back to my QuickBooks. And when I come back to my QuickBooks, now why I am importing is because I don't want to type, right? I don't want to type. But if the product is just one, I can go ahead and just click on create new item. But here I want to import the list because I already have them in Excel. So I'll just click on import. Now when I click on import, you can see all these are just let's go, right? Now when I click on that, now I will have to import the file. So what I will do is to click import from file. Then I will have to browse the file. It's either going to be an Excel file or a CSV file. So it's an Excel file. I'll click on open, select the file, click on open, then I'll click on next, right? So you can see it's analyzing the columns in the file. So it found 2 columns. Now first, item name. So to be sure, item name. So it has found item ID, it has found item name. So this is the item name. We have item type, we have all of them are inventory type. That means they are trackable inventory items. We have description, we have unit of measure is not necessary, we have purchase price, we have selling price, and we have opening quantity. It's supposed to be opening quantity. So I'll just go ahead and come back to my QuickBooks. Now we have product name, right? Product item name, map, we have item category, item type, map, right? Item type, map. Now item type, we are having problem here. Now this item category, I don't know why it's saying item category is also type. So let's see first, right? If there are errors, item ID, right? Item ID for SQI, which can just leave it. Then item description, right? We have description, right? You can see how QuickBooks is doing this. We have description. Now item, now selling price, we have selling price. So selling price, we have selling price, right? So we have now this price, now it's asking us selling price. Selling price is inclusive of VAT, so it's inclusive. So we are going to select okay, let's leave that for now. So selling price, we're going to leave that not applicable. Tax on sale price. Okay. Selling price, so price and anyway, I don't know what this means. So in order not to confuse myself, I'll just go ahead and uncheck this, make it not applicable right for now, because you are still going to come to that. Now income account, very important. Income account, this one too, we are going to leave it, right? So description on purchase, we have this, and purchase price, which is the purchase cost, right? We have it selected. We have every other thing here. Now purchase stars and everything we have here. We have quantity as of today, right? So quantity as at today is going to be opening quantity, and it's going to be as at today. So it's going to take today's date. Now reorder period, we have inventory asset account. We are going to leave it for now. Then we are going to click on next. Right. So you can see that this item type, we can see the same issue we had when we were when we added items, when we added our chart of account. So it's not telling that this item type, it doesn't know what is here. So this item category is going to be inventory. So this item type is going to be inventory. So everything here is an inventory item, right? It's an inventory item. So that is what we are supposed to do. So you just select inventory item, select inventory item, select inventory item. So that's what you are going to do to make sure that all of these are inventory item, because the item, the category is inventory part item, right? So QuickBooks actually recognize that category inventory part item, so we have to make them an inventory item as well. So that's what we're going to do until we are done. So you can see that now that we have selected the inventory type is an inventory, we have selected them. This number is not, this SKU number is not compulsory, but you can just leave it. I generated this just for generating sake, right? So you have to review and see if these items you put and everything is correct, right? So now we have the selling price. Now selling price is equals to, that's selling price, that's is included, this selling price includes VAT. So if the selling price is VAT inclusive, you just tick, right? That's how you are going to do it. Says on tax on sales, so manage tax rate. So look at, you open it up and you see there's no switch to tax rate. So all these items are taxable items, so you can just go ahead and click done, right? So you can see that it has imported it. So when you now click this 7.5%, it will apply the 7.5%. It says price, that is includes VAT. So we are going to check all of this, right? They are going to include all of this. I will keep telling you that setup is very important whenever you're setting any accounting system. The setup is very, very important. You have to make sure that what you're doing is correct. So is VAT inclusive, right? All of this we are saying this is a VAT rate, VAT on sales, right? So let's say what is this item? Let's say this is sugar, right? Sugar. This is vegetable oil, right? This is rice. This is water. Let's say this some of these items are zero rated items, VAT rated item. We have flour, we have let's say soft drinks. Yeah, they are vatable, right? You should know all of this before you start running your setup. So let's say this is soft drink, the vatable item, right? So you should know more. If they are not vatable item, you can just go ahead and check that. We have milk. Let's say this is 0 VAT. Let's say this is 0 VAT. Then this is also, let's say this is also 0 VAT. So you can just select, you can, when you are inputting this data, you have to know which of your items are vatable and which of your items are not vatable. So anyone that is vatable, you select the VAT rate, you apply the VAT rate on it. Setup is always very important. You can say VAT exempt or 0 rated VAT. You can say whatever that applies. So we have brown beans, right? Say 0 VAT. We have let's say this is what flour, wheat flour. You can just go ahead and say is no VAT. Whatever that applies to your product, whatever tax rate that applies to your product, you have to make sure that that is being selected. So that is very important, and I will always tell you that setup is important. And we have this, let's go ahead and add VAT. So we have this, we can just go ahead and say okay, this is vatable too. We can go ahead and say this is also vatable. We can, this is a vatable item. We can just say okay, this is vatable too. Now we can also do the same. So all the items that are vatable, you can go ahead and apply the VAT rate on them, right? So let's say this may be 0 rated 0%, right? So the next one is assign the income account. Now the income account, we have already, that's why I told you that chart of account before you now do your items. So assign the income account that is going to track. Now you can say okay, sale of products, right? So you can apply sale of product. You can just go ahead and select that sale of product account. So these are all the accounts you're going to assign to read. Now you can just go ahead and do that. So when you are done assigning the account that will track the revenue that is coming from this product, you can go ahead and look at your, you can go ahead and also look at your cost, right? We have purchase costs include tax. Now that's the VAT input, now the VAT that comes with the product. So purchase tax include tax, you can tick it and you can check the tax on the cost, right? You can just go ahead and do that too. So you can just, the same tax rate, the same way you feel those information, you can go ahead. Anyone you say is VAT exempt, you have to select VAT exempt. Anyone you say is VAT inclusive, you have to select VAT inclusive. So if you are saying that this is it, then you can go ahead. And now setup is important in the sense that it will do this background work for you. When you want to report your tax or you want to file for your tax, it will have to deduct your VAT input from your VAT output and give you what you're supposed to pay. So that is just it, as simple as that. So if you say that okay, this first item is VAT 7%, this one too is going to be 7%. So the same way you treat it, the same way you are going to set it up. So this is 0 VAT. Now this is also the same way you selected it, because you cannot say that okay, this VAT item is vatable, but here you're saying it's not vatable. So you can do the same thing, right? So that is it. You have to apply the same rate you applied. Now for the sake of discussion, right, when you go to your tax how will I call it, when you go to your tax setup, right, when you go to FIRS, let me still be using the word FIRS. Now these tax tables or this tax rate, this individual tax rate you're seeing, this is how you're going to see it in your tax promas. This is how you're going to see it. And because Quickbooks is a globally recognized software, it's like I told us, it updates according to the structure, according to the system, or according to the tax regime in that particular region or in that particular country. So you always see this. If I select India now, the tax code is not going to be the same, the tax rate is not going to be the same. So all these items you are seeing, that's how you're going to see it in tax pro mass, right? So it's very important for you know. Now the next thing we are going to do, remember we are just reviewing our account to see how it relates to each other. Now this is expense account. Now this expense account is now the cost of sales account, right? So that's the cost of sales account. Now that's where you're going to assign purchase of goods, all these things. When we purchase goods, this is where we're going to post them. So you can just go ahead and assign them the same way you assign the income account, right? The same way we do that. So you have to take your time and be doing this thing. Setup is always very important. Setup is very important. So now that we are done assigning the expense account, which is the cost of sales account, now the next thing is our quantity at hand. We are saying that these are the quantity we have at hand for each of these items. Now the next thing again we are going to look at is the date. The date is invalid, so as at when is this? So I can just go ahead and leave it as at today, as at today, as at today, as at today. So that is just it. So you assign the date as at today. This is what we have, right? So you go ahead and do that. So I am done assigning the dates. I'm done assigning the dates, the quantity as at the date. Now this date I'm done assigning it. The next one is what? The order point. Now it is not compulsory, you must not do it. At what point do you want to place a new order? This is 20, so I can say okay, when it gets to 5, I want Quickbooks to alert me so that I can place another order. When this one, when it gets to 10, and this maybe when it gets to 10 as well, maybe this one too when it gets to 10, right? This one when it gets to, let's say, 20. Now this one when it gets to, let's say, 40. This, let's say, when it gets to 40 as well. This, and let's say when it gets to 5, right? This, let's say when it gets to let's say 20. This when it gets to, let's say, 10, right? So this is just something we should do so that people will keep reminded that okay, you are running out of stock, this is the remaining quantity at hand, and Quickbooks automatically send, let's say, this send you a notification or a reminder to that effect. So this one will also be 5. Now this is going to be, let's say, 10, right? So you can just use, you can decide whatever quantity you want to put as reorder quantity, and this is, let's say, this is let's say 50, right? So we have done that, the reorder point. Now the next one is what? Our inventory account. That's the asset account, inventory account. So we are going to select inventory. Now we are going to select inventory. Any of this account is good, but this, let's go with inventory asset, right? So let's go ahead with inventory asset. It's the same thing. That's why I told you that Quickbooks automatically creates some account for us. Now the ones plus the ones are imported. That's why we are seeing this difference in. So we are going to actually maybe hide or make one inactive. So as you are seeing, you can see how I'm selecting it. I'm taking this, I'm doing this step by step so that we can understand how to set up this structure, right? Setup is very important. When you don't get the setup right, it becomes difficult for you to actually manage, and that is where you start hearing people say that, oh, Quickbooks is complicated, this and that. But I have not seen any software that is more that is a kind of simpler. In fact, I prefer Quickbooks to Sage 50. Yes, I prefer Quickbooks to Sage 50, right? You may not understand why, but when you start using this application, you understand why, right? Since you have the option to use the two, right? Since you have the option to use the two, I will advise that you go through them. It records the same kind of transaction you record in Quickbooks, record the same kind of transaction in Sage 50, and see the difference. Generate a report and see the flow and how it looks, right? So when you are done filling it, because now we are checking all these things like this because we imported the file, right? Because we imported. But if we are typing, we have to do this one after the other, right? So if you are done, you are satisfied with what you did here right now, so you can just go ahead and click on save, right? Click on save. Now Quickbooks is going to save, so hold tight. Now it's going to do the settings for you, and it's going to import your file and save it for you in your inventory list. Now we have set up our inventory list, so you can see savings to Quickbooks, refreshed for latest data. We are uploading a lot of data, so it will take a longer time than usual. Continue, right? So let's go ahead and refresh again and see, right? So 15 items saved, 0 failed, so everything has been updated. So what we are going to do right now is maybe refresh this place. We're not going to see anything new, right? Even though we refresh this one, we're not going to see anything new. Let's go back to our QuickBooks, right? So we can see how the thing is flowing without too much trouble, and how we are doing it without actually stressing ourselves. Now, I am not teaching you something I learned using ChatGPT. I am teaching you something out of experience, right? I'm teaching you something out of experience and how you can apply it in real life. So this is not out of maybe because I want to teach, because I want to collect your money. I'm teaching you because I know it, and I have passed through the difficulties that a lot of us must have come across. But this is just the simplest way I know I can make this class, right? If you have any other problem that you want me to help you assist in solving, I'm always available. I told you I am up for any challenge, right? I'm up for any challenge. Now, one of the most difficult one of the challenges we are having with QuickBooks is that it doesn't allow for interdepartmental transfer or interdepartmental transaction. So you must as well do everything manually. I think I have a question from somebody from this platform, right? I will share up questions, and maybe sometimes I will share the questions so that we go through it and see how it works and how I was able, or how I am going to be able to solve that problem. So you can see these are the items we added. These are the inventory items. Now these are service items that maybe we imported, but we can as well adjust this. Maybe we can say, okay, this is for delivery. I can just adjust this item. I can just edit this item and say, okay, this is, instead of service, let's say this is delivery fee. Let's say this is delivery fee, right? Delivery fee, and it's going to be under service item. No SQL. The category can just it's not an inventory part item. No, it's not an inventory part item. So here we can just put delivery fee, delivery fee, right? So the cost, we can just leave it. Let's put a standard rate. Let's say it's 5,000. Let's put a 5,000. The income account, so you can just go ahead and say, okay, income on service. You can just go ahead and leave it like that. Price includes VAT, so we can just click on that. Price include VAT, and the VAT rate is what, 7.5%. You can see how we are doing that. So we can just go ahead and click save. Right, so we have just settled that. So we have changed that. Now, in case you are not importing any file, if you are not importing any file, you can go ahead and click on, let's say you want to add a new item. You can just go ahead and click after you have come to your where again you have come to your sales and get paid, right? Products, you can just go to your product and services. You have it here. Then you can just click on new, add new product. It's either going to be a service item, or it's going to be an inventory item or non-inventory item. I've explained that in our previous sections, in other things, in the desktop versions, and right, so we understand what it means. So you can just click on, if it's an inventory item, you click on inventory item. Now you enter all those details again. You have name of the item, right? Name of the item, the type of item. Now you enter the category of the item, right? It's an inventory item. Then we have the inventory information, the date, that's the quantity at hand, the date as at this. It's all those things we have just did. This is how to do it manually, right, without importing them. So I will not add any other thing. I'll just go ahead. If you are done, you can just go ahead and save, and you will save and close, right? So you know we are familiar with those terms. So you just cancel this. Now we have added our inventory. As you can see, this is a list of our inventory. Now when we come back in the next section, what we are going to be doing is that we are going to add in vendor and customers, right? Vendors and customers. Remember, I told you that setting is very, very important when it comes to QuickBooks. So that's why we are taking our time to do that. So stay tuned and see you in the next class.
Yes, welcome back to our QuickBooks Online Masterclass. In today's class, we are going to be looking at how to enter our vendors and customers. Right, in the previous section, what we did was that we imported our inventory list, that is the item list, into QuickBooks instead of actually entering them manually one after the other in QuickBooks. So in this class we are going to do the same thing. Instead of typing, we are going to go ahead and just import from Excel to QuickBooks. Right, so to do that, what you're going to do is you come back to where you're seeing your report, where you're seeing my app. Right, we have your customers, then you come to your customers, you click on customers. So when you click on customers, you will see that your customer is empty, the customer list is empty. Right, so on the top right hand corner here, you will see where you have new, that's to enter a new customer. Right, if you click on the arrow, we have the option to import, right, which is the option we are going to use right now. So you just go ahead and click on the import. So you wait for it to load. Now when it is open, the same way we have we saw it when we were importing our inventory, that's the same thing we are going to see. So you just click browse to open the location of the folder or of the file. Right, I have my own under my downloads, so I'll just click on customer. I have already renamed it, so I'll just click on customer and I'll click open. Right, so it is now open. I can actually connect from my Google Sheet. Right, if I have my customer list in my Google Sheet, I can connect from it and preview the format. Right, I can just click here and you see the format to import from Google Sheet. Right, but that is not what we're going to do. So once you select the file name, then you click on next. So when you select next, of course you know the drill here. Here you are going to map the details. Now QuickBooks automatically identifies some details. Here we have the customer ID, and QuickBooks is identifying it as what? It's identifying it as the name as customer ID, which is very wrong. It is not supposed to. Right, if you look at our customer ID, those are just numbers. Sorry, so those are just numbers. Right, so our customer ID is number. What we want to match with the name should be name. Right, so we are going to match it with the name. Right, so QuickBooks know that this is a name. Now the QuickBooks is also asking for company name. What is the name of the company where the customer is working? Right, so we can go ahead and say, okay, the name of the company is the same name. Right, is the same name. Just let's assume that that's the same name. Right, is the same name. So let's match the same thing. Now let's see, we have contact person. Who are the contact person that we can contact for this? Now in this contact person, we are going to also select okay, here in QuickBooks we don't have a contact person, right, but that's not a problem, we already done that. So the company name and the contact person should serve as and then we have the email. It has already identified the email. Right, we have the email. Then we have the phone number. It has identified the phone number. Right, then we also have mobile number, which we don't have. We can leave it as no match. We have website. Right, do we have website in our list? We don't have website in our list, but we have address. Right, we have address. So let's see if the address is matched. Now the country, we are going to go ahead and we don't have country on end here, no problem. Now if we have any opening balances, of course we don't have a column for opening balance, we can just leave it. So this is basically what we have in our Excel sheet. So we just go ahead. Okay, street as address, it has been identified. So I city, okay, now city we can go ahead and say is the same thing as the address, but I will leave it like that. Now region, we don't have that on our Excel sheet, so we can just go ahead and import this. So click next once you are done mapping it. So you click next. Here now you can review the information you enter. If there's anyone that is not correct, you can just correct it immediately. So you can see the matching, the name, the company name, the email address, the phone number, the street, the city. All of these are what we map out in our Excel sheet. So we can just go ahead right now and then just click on done. Right, if you click on done. Right, so if you plan to send this to marketing team, you can just go ahead and tap this to activate it. Otherwise you can just go ahead and just leave it the way it is. Then you click on done. Now when you click on done, our file 6 customers has been imported, and you can see it right now there in our customer list. Now our customer list has items in it. Now we will do the same thing for our vendor. Right, I would have loved to leave it as an assignment that you do it, but no, if you can try it on your own, it's a good idea. right? It's a good idea. You already know what to do. So you just come back to your app here. Now what you're going to do differently here is that you are no longer looking for a customer, you're looking for vendor, right? What you're looking for is vendor. So that's what you're going to do, right, to import your vendors list. So now when you come back to my apps here, you will see where we have expenses and bills. Now under it we have expenses and transactions, we have suppliers, we have bills. So what we want to import now, QuickBooks Desktop says is vendors, while QuickBooks Online says is supplier. So those are the same thing. Supplier and vendor are still the same people. So let's go ahead and click on suppliers. If you click on suppliers, of course it will take time to load, right? So you can see it keep track of who you pay, right? So that's it. So what we want to do is import, not add manually. So we want to click on import. So you just click on import, the same process, right? You browse the file, you locate you select the location of the files where it is, then you select the file if you have it in Excel already, then you just click on open, right? When you click on open, of course, like I said, you always have the option to connect with your Google Sheet. So when you click on open, you can just go ahead and click next. Now when you click on next, the same drill, we just map it again. We map your customer ID is not what we want here in the name. Your customer ID is your vendor's ID is going to be your vendor's name. We have the vendors under the company, also have the vendor's name. Then email, of course, is map checked. Then phone number is checked. Then we have address. Then address and city should be the same. Address and city should be the same, right? So when you look at your vendors list, so your vendors list should also give you the same thing. So you can see this is what we have, right? These are the few details we have in our vendors list. So QuickBooks Online does not give us the option for vendors ID, right? Vendors ID. So it's not a problem. You can just go ahead and ignore that. So when you're done, of course, you go ahead and click next. You can see it's as simple as ABC, right? It's as simple as ABC, because I will always tell you that settings matters very much, especially when it comes to accounting application. Once your settings are right, your entrance will definitely be right, and even though they are not right, you can easily find out what those are, right? You can easily find them out. So in any of these items you actually don't want to import, you can as well uncheck it, right? Let's say I don't want to import this Zenith insurance, whatever here, I don't want to import it. I can go ahead and just uncheck it, but let me just leave it there, right? So let's go ahead and so just click here, it will not import this particular one. So let's go ahead and leave this there, and then I'll click on import. Now I have imported another 6 transactions, which is now the suppliers. We have our suppliers list is now updated, right? So we can see that in just simple steps we are able to complete some basic settings. Now we started off by setting up our chart of account, right? Apart from creation of the company profile and every other thing that we did when we are signing up for this QuickBooks Cloud version, we set up our chart of account, which I say is very important, after which we look at our tax. Now QuickBooks Desktop will allow you to do your tax setup manually. The QuickBooks Online is already integrated to the region where you selected, so all you need to do is to identify the region. Once the region is identified, it knows exact tax rate to charge. So all you need to do is to just apply it on your inventory item, and it will start charging accordingly, right? Now another thing we observe in QuickBooks Online is that QuickBooks Online has the option for VAT inclusive and VAT exclusive, which in QuickBooks Desktop we don't have that option. The only thing you have is to set up your VAT. It's either going to be VATable or non-VATable items. So these are the only 2 options you have in QuickBooks Desktop, right? Maybe for the version we are using, but if we're using the latest version, we can find other options, but I doubt, right? I doubt. But QuickBooks Online gives you the options to either include your VAT in your selling price or exclude it from your selling price, which is what we did, right? Which is what we did on our inventory. So which is what we did on our inventory item when we were setting them up. Right, so that is it. We have seen the simple process of how we have set up this we follow to set up this QuickBooks application, right? We have
seen it. We have seen from the registration of the company to setting up our chart of account, then to what again, to setting up our tax, right, to our inventory, then our we have our customers and vendor, which is what we just did right now. So you can see this is our inventory list. This is our inventory list. If you want to make any adjustment, you can as well come back to your inventory. Every information, every app, every activity, or every task you want to perform, you always come to my apps here, right? People have changed a lot. Before now, you don't have this option. Before now, you can just click on the accounting or accountant, it will bring you to these places. But now we have my app. So these are different applications in QuickBooks. So you click on inventory, then you can have your inventory list. If there's anyone you want to make any adjustment, like this one, I don't think I need this, but I can go ahead and just check it. Then I can then click here, right, click here, either to make it inactive. Remember that QuickBooks online, you don't delete, you don't see something, you don't see delete, like delete the way we have it in QuickBooks desktop. So here you only make it inactive. So if you make it inactive, it as well as deleting that transaction or that item. So I'll just go ahead and make this inactive. Yes, make inactive. Now that has gone out from our inventory list, right? If we refresh it, we will not see that again. So we could not make your item inactive. Take a look at the item and try again. So we cannot make it, whatever the reason is, I don't know, but let's just forget about it. It doesn't cost us anything, right? So these are just some of the things you will pay attention to when you are setting up your QuickBooks. So we are done with the entire setup. The next thing we are going to do is our daily transaction. So I'm going to send us I'm going to generate some information that we're going to use. I don't want to just use any kind of information or any kind of transaction. I want to use a real life transactions as we can see it in many organizations, and something that we can relate. It's not hypothetical examples though, but something that we can easily relate to whenever we are performing some transaction. There is nothing you cannot do. Now I will keep saying this, QuickBooks Sage 50 are one of the most valuable accounting tools we have. Why? Because they are very dynamic. There are options that you may want to use you will not see, right? You want to record opening balances of some transaction, you may not see it directly, that okay, use this place just as we have expenses and bills and pay bills. Use this place to record expenses and pay bills. You may not see it, but you have the option to use the journal. Now the journal is a little bit handy, but it is mainly for professional accountants. If you are not familiar with your accounting, you have to go back and learn about that, because that is very important. If you don't know the principles of double entry, you have to go back and learn it before you can start using journal. And that is why it is not everybody that is allowed to make use of journal in QuickBooks, because any transaction you record using journal, if you are not careful, if you don't understand how it works, you end up making a lot of mistakes. So that is why we always avoid, use the ones you understand and ask questions, right? If there's anything you don't understand, you can always ask questions, then you can be put through on how to use such transaction. So right now we are going to go back. When we return, we are going to look at how to record our daily transaction, how to raise invoice, how to pay record expenses, how to pay bills, how to record sales, how to do a lot of things. So when we come back, we look into that. All right, welcome back to class. Now that we are done doing the setup, is a good time for us to look at what we are seeing on your screen. Now from what you are seeing, you are already familiar with what a dashboard is, right? So this is our dashboard. Now the difference between this dashboard and the one we see in QuickBooks Desktop is that QuickBooks Desktop, the dashboard is basically these options you are seeing on top right here. These are the things you will see in our QuickBooks Desktop, right? Now, but the QuickBooks Desktop is divided into two screens. We have the inside and we have the normal navigation tool or navigation dashboard, or the apps as you are seeing them here. These are the applications as you are seeing them here, right? That's how we have it in QuickBooks, but in QuickBooks Desktop. But the difference between this dashboard and the one we see in and the one we are seeing right now is that this one at a glance is showing us the business inside, how the business is performing so far, the bank accounts, and it will show the balances. If we have any bank account connected, you will see them right here. You can see say link your banks to see your balances in one place. So you can see here, you can link First Bank, Access Bank Business Nigeria, Access Bank Premium, Prime, whatever. You can find other banks that you're operating, link them directly here. Remember when I was saying we were talking about linking your bank account so that all the expenses or any transaction that enter your bank, whether it's debit or credit, it will automatically reflect in Quickbooks. All you need to do is to categorize it when you come in, that it will give you a real-time data or balance on your bank account always, right? You will not miss out of anything. Now that is the bank section. Then we have the profit or loss, or profit and loss, as Quickbooks have it here. You can filter this profit or loss by quarter, you can filter by month, you can filter by the last 30 days, you can filter by any one you want at all, so you can always have it. I don't mind this 5 naira you're seeing here. This is posted by Quickbooks on default. We're going to delete it later on, right? We're going to delete that later on just for sample purposes. We're going to delete that. We have the expenses. You will see your expense category and everything right here, right? Then we also have the cash flow statement, which is also going to be linked to your bank account. You will see that here, right? We have the balance and we have the money in and out, right? So you always see that. And that is basically what the dashboard can give you. Now there are other options though. There are other things you can decide to bring onto the dashboard if you want, right? But basically what you are seeing is dashboard. Now it will always show you the name of the person that is currently logged in. Now this company is created by Charity, and Charity is the owner of the company, right? We are using Charity as the owner of the company, so it will always see Charity's name, and if it is evening, you see good evening. If it is good morning, good afternoon, you always see it right here. You see the name of the person that is currently logged in, right? So that's basically the dashboard. Now we are going to do what we are going to do in this section basically again is we are going to enter daily transactions as they occur. Now remember that this is a training, so we have to consolidate all the transaction in one place. But in your own case, if you're doing it, it has to be on real-time basis, right? It has to be on real-time. You don't need to wait until you have them that much before you can start entering them in the system. But this is for training purposes. That is why I am doing this right now, right? So as usual, I used to have my thing prepared in Excel so that it will ease the flow of my training, especially in transaction like this, right? To ease the flow of my training. Now the first thing we have here is we have this transaction for January 2026, right? We have the deposit, right? That's the owner's capital, right? You can see the deposit as at January 1st 2026 deposit, right, by owners. It will be deposited into owner's account. That's where it will be deposited. Owner's account or capital contribution. The description is owners introduced capital, and it's 2 million naira, and it's going to be an opening capital, right? That's the note. It's going to be an opening capital, right? Why I am doing this, because you should know these are things you should already know, right? So that's the first transaction we're going to start with. Now on the other hand, we have the opening inventory, and the option that we have is using journal to record it. Now this is to use deposit to record this transaction, and this is to use journal to record this transaction. Now I won't actually do this, right? Why won't I do this? Because I have already entered transactions on my inventory. So my inventory already have balances, and if I look at my report, right? If you look at my report right here, if you come to my report, now let me just open my report or click on the report, right? So let's look at our balance sheet. When we look at our balance sheet or our trial balance, we should be able to see the balances. I've already entered my inventory items with balances and with the values in it, so there is no need of me actually capturing this inventory, opening inventory again into it. So there's no need. So it's an initial inventory. I've already done that, right? So if I am using journal to do this, that means I'll just enter the value, and there's no, if I'm using journal, what I will enter is the value, not the quantity of the inventory that is actually available. So, and that is not what I want to do. So you must always understand this. When you are dealing with inventory has to do with quantity, Then when you are talking about you want to make an adjustment, the adjustment you want to make, if it is based on quantity, then using journal is not the option. Journal is not the way to go for adjusting quantity, right? We have inventory adjustment modules. Also, you can see the apps in QuickBooks. I'm going to show you, and we have done that in our desktop. I showed you how to do that right now. I showed you in details how to do that, but if you didn't get that, and if there's something I need to repeat so that I can explain that very well, then I will be happy and be glad to do that, right? So just point it out and note that, right? So this I don't actually need to do again because I have already handled the inventory aspect. So like I said, if my inventory list is open, where is the inventory? I just want to see a report on inventory, right? So this is inventory. Now let me go to inventory summary. So if I click on inventory summary right now, what I will have, you can see that I've already entered the values of those inventory items, so there is no need of me again entering it. So these are the initial values, of this inventory, and you can see it's even over what is what we have here. So I just make this so that you should know that this item I don't need actually enter it again, because I have entered the inventory item and I have entered the initial quantity and their balancing. So this is basically for adjustment, but I am not going to do that. So we already have our own opening inventory, right? So anything you are using journal to do is going to be the value, especially if it has to do with inventory and you're using journal to make the adjustment. It's going to be adjustment on the value, not on the quantity, and it's not going to be on individual item. It's going to be on the general value of what we have in our inventory account, right? So we have to know that. Then we're also going to use our deposit to deposit money. That's on our loan. That's we take loan of, we are assuming we are taking loan of 1.5 million naira, right? It's going to go to our loan account, right? If we don't have all this account, we can create them. So these are the first 3 transactions we're going to start with, but we have already handled the first one, right? The first one has been handled, and the next one, the one we are going to do right now, is the deposit by owners capital. That's deposit by the owners of the business. That's deposit by charity, who is the owner of this business right now, right? So we are going to see it now. Don't forget, we are going to delete this 5 naira, right? We don't need this. This is deposited by, this is a transaction made by QuickBooks, and it's just for illustration purposes. It's just a sample, right? So let's go ahead. Now we want to deposit money into our business. That we want to introduce new capital into our business. So all these are options we can use. Remember, we're talking about deposits. So you can just go ahead and click and until you see what you're looking for. Now, if you look at it, we did not find it in this app. So we can see create actions. We have create invoice, record expenses, add bank deposit, create checks, whatever. You can view others, you can view more, you can see there are other options. So add bank deposit. So what we are doing is we are adding bank deposits, right? So you can click here, add bank deposit. That's what we're using, deposit to make the transaction. So the first transaction we have is going to be deposited into owner's capital, right? Owner's capital, which is now 2 million naira. That's what we're going to do, right? So let's go ahead. It's on the first. Now the bank account, right? The bank account. So the account that this money is going to be deposited, we are going to say is going to be deposited into our Zenith bank account. So as this, we're going to deposit it into our bank account. So let's select bank account, right? So we select bank account. Now it's asking us, who are we receiving this money from? Now in this case, we're not receiving this money from anybody. This is owner's contribution, and this is another thing we need to pay attention to. This is owner's contribution, right? We are not receiving this money from anybody. So in this case, right, so the deposit option is actually not going to work, right? I like to make this kind of mistake. I like this kind of mistake whenever they arise, so that I can be able to teach you, not based on perfection, but saying that, okay, things like incidents like this can happen and you'll be confused, you don't know what to do. So you are saying that you're receiving this money from who? You're not receiving this money from anybody, and this money is supposed to go to what? This money is supposed to go to it's supposed to go to our what do we call it? This money is supposed to go to our supposed to go to our owner's capital, right? It's owner's capital, that's opening balance. Now what we can do right now, since the option here is not going to give us what we want, because we cannot record any transaction here without actually selecting the person that is making the deposit, right? And here we have the option of customer, and then we have the next one is supplier, which is the vendor, and these are not the people that we want to make this transaction with their name. So what we are going to do, we are going to clear up this one and clear the transaction, right? When we clear the transaction, we cancel it, right? We cancel. Yeah, do you want to leave without saving? Yes, I want to leave without saving. So this deposit does not work. Now the deposit doesn't work. What will work? How do we record our opening balance? Now this is where we have to use our head. Remember I said that when you want to adjust a transaction overall balance, or when you want to make some adjustment, now it is not everything that QuickBooks has an app for, or has a simpler way of doing it, right? Things like this, QuickBooks doesn't have any option for it. We have option for create invoice, which is basically for sales, to record expense, to add bank deposit, right? That's just like bank payment from customers, and to create check, right? To write check, create check, the same thing we have in desktop, right? So QuickBooks have this option, but they don't have option to capture opening balances for item, except we do that from the chart of account when we are creating it. Then we'll have the option to actually record that transaction initial balance from when we were entering, we are creating that chart of account. Now we have the option to do that, but in this case we actually don't have the option to do that right now. So let's first of all go back to our chart of account. So to go back to our chart of account, what you will need to do is come to your account, right? When you come to your account, you will now click on your chart of accounts, right? When you click on your chart of account, now you have all these chart of account. Now what we want to do right now is we want to look at the chart of account. We are talking about deposit, we are talking about initial capital, right? Initial capital the owners of this business deposited into the business. So what we are going to do right now is look for equity account, where the equity account is, right? So that's one sweet thing about this account. You don't actually need to be scrolling up and down and looking for it. So you can just go ahead and search equity, right? So when you search equity account, equity, then it will bring all the equity accounts. So we have this opening balance equity. This is where we want to record transaction. Now our opening balance equity has already have transaction. Now this is coming from our inventory. You already have this transaction. Now these are coming from the inventory balance. You can view the account history. Now when you click on view the account history, now it will show you the transactions that are actually in that account. So it means that we cannot record any initial transaction in it by just clicking on it and recording it as opening balance again. So what we can do right now is, the only option we have is to use our journal, right? So our journal is the option to use. So as you are seeing now, this is the equity account history. We have the starting, we have the start, we have the drains, which are, these are coming from inventory. This is the value. You can see this is the item, this is where the value is coming from. You can see all these are balances, and this is how they come directly from our inventory account. So you can see these are opening balances from our inventory account. These are what we are starting business with. They are what we are starting business with. We also have a cash, right? We have a cash that we are starting business with, and that cash is our major concern now. That cash is what we want to record, right? That cash is what we want to record. So that's why I'm trying to take you around so that you can see that there are instances like this is when you want to record opening balance, but you say, you use deposit, we try deposit, we see that deposit did not work, because why didn't it work? It is asking us for the person that is making the deposit, and the two options we have is the deposit can either be made by a customer or by a vendor. So these are the only two people that we can record that can make deposit, but those are not the people we want to make this transaction on, right? So what do we do? Now what we will do is to use journal to capture this contribution, this capital contribution
by the owners of the business of 2 million naira, right? That's what we're going to do. Now what we're going to do is go back to our QuickBooks. When you come to your QuickBooks, right, so from where we are right now, I don't actually need to go out from this place. I can just come here where I'm seeing create. If I point to this plus sign that I'm seeing up here, you're seeing create. Now look at from all the lists, we have all these lists. Under the customer we have all these lists, under the supplier we have all these lists, under the teams we have all these lists. Then under others we have tax, we have bank deposit, we have transfer, we have journal entry, we have inventory quantity adjustment, we have pay down credit card and other add product and service. That's to add inventory items. So we have them, but what our concern is right now is on the journal. The journal is what we want to use to bring in our opening balance on owner's contribution. Now when you have opened the journal, now QuickBooks will not eliminate the other process for you. QuickBooks will not do the other process for you. So you must know the two accounts that are involved. The two accounts that are involved are very, very important. Number one account that is involved that you must always bear in mind is, okay, which account is actually receiving this money? Now the account that is receiving this money is, let's say, is our Zenith Bank account, and that is the first account we are going to be debiting, right? The first account we are going to be debiting is our, let's say, our Zenith Bank account, or let's say it's cash or whatever, but we are choosing Zenith Bank account, so let's select Zenith Bank account. Now this is the account that we're going to debit. Now what is the amount? The amount is 2 million naira, right? The amount is 2 million naira. Of course, if you have a debit entry, there must always be a corresponding credit entry. So what I will do, I will just copy the description here. I'll copy the description here, right? So if I copy the description here, I'll paste it right here, right? In your own case, you may decide to, you have to type, right? So in the name, because it doesn't have anything to do with customer, it doesn't have anything to do with vendor, so we are not assigning it to any of these people, so we're just going to skip it. There is nothing like tax, we are not adding any tax here, nothing like tax here. But the date is going to be 1st of January, right? 1st of January 2026. That is going to be the date of this journal. So you can decide to customize your journal right here. What I usually like doing is I just take journal, right? So I start the journal like this, right? So this is how I like starting my journal. And of course, you can always import. If you have any journal you want to import it, or you have a list of journal transactions you have to import, so you can always import as well, so it becomes easy for you. This is basically for other people who are coming from other who are migrating from other accounting applications, so you can always import your journal. It's not a problem. Now that we have our debit transaction, so which account now is going to be the credit transaction? Now the account that's going to be the credit that is going to be affected by the remaining half of this to complete this transaction is going to be our equity account, and that equity account is going to be our opening equity account, right? Opening equity account. And we can decide to rename this account. We can decide to rename it to bear this name. We can decide to rename it to bear Owner's Capital, right? So Owner's Capital, we can decide to rename that, right? So but that is not what we want to do, so we can go ahead and do this. So we have this, we can see that this is the transaction we want to record. Now I can as well, because all these are under the same date, these are the same journal, I say I'm not going to treat this, the number 2 item, which is the inventory item, I'm not going to do that because I've already handled that transaction already, so there's no need of me doing this again, right? But if I just want to capture the stock balance, or let me say I want to capture this balance as a stock, but it will not make any much difference, and it is not wise because it is not tied to any quantity of item, so the value is just going to be there, right? It's just going to be there. So that is not what I want to do, so I'll just ignore this because I've already treated inventory items. I've already entered the initial opening item, so I'm ignoring that. Now this other transaction, okay, right? I think that this date is still first. I will have decided to enter this transaction in the same journal. I could have used one journal to record the two transactions, but because the dates are different, so I will have to record it separately, right? Even though I record them in the same journal, it will still reflect in their individual account because all the transactions are going to their individual account. So this is loan, right? This is loan. Now don't mind the deposit again.
what we are going to use is we are going to use the same journal to record this. Now, where is the money coming from? This is a loan we are collecting from a bank, right? This loan we are collecting from a bank, so it's 1.5 million, right? First of all, let's now save this journal. So since we are entering only this, let's save this journal. So you're already familiar with save and new and save and close, right? You're already familiar with this term. So I want to do save and new because I want to enter another journal, right? So I'll do save and close, and save and new, I mean. So it will save the journal. You can see that journal entry number, this has been saved. Now we have this option again. Which account is being debited? We received money from GT, right? Our GT. So we can say GT account, right? GT account is going to be debited with what? 1.5 million. GT account is going to be debited with 1.5 million. So what we are going to take as execution is going to be loan for business, right? So loan for business. Loan for business. Now loan for business. Now what is then the name? We are not assigning any name, right? We are not assigning any name to this. We are not assigning any name to any of this, right? We are not assigning. Or we have GTV Bank as a supplier. Let's see first. Let's see first. This is loan, right? Let's assign GTB as a supplier, as a supplier's cash. Let's assign this to GT, right? So we have this is going to be loan. So the next account that is going to be credited is going to be loan. So we are going to look our loan account. That is where we are going to put that, the loan. So you can always search, right? So we have bank loan from GT, right? You can see bank loan GT. So we have bank loan, right? So this, I don't know the effect of this anyway for now, but I can decide to leave it, or I can decide to just remove it, right? So I can just remove this. I don't know the effect right now, but I know that this is the loan I am owing this to. But I can assign. We know what assigning is. Now when you assign this, it will automatically track it, right? It should track that you're owing this in your supplier section, right? So you can do that, no problem. It's not going to be anything bad. So let's do that. One of these is okay, and I like doing the two so that it will show what I'm doing. So because this is 2nd of January, you have to always go with the date. Now this is the date. Then the next thing to do is to save and close, because that's the last journal we are entering on the opening of this business, right? So let's go ahead and save and close, right? Save and close. So we have saved the 2nd journal. Now when we come back to our desktop, our dashboard, this is what we're going to see. Now you can see that our account is going to be taking shape. It's not taking shape, it's refreshing to take shape. So we have entered some transactions, right? If you filter this, no, it will not appear here, but it should appear somewhere in our bank balance right here, right? So we are going to see it when we get to that place. We are going to see all of this. Now the next thing we are going to record, right? The next thing we're going to record when we return, right? We are done with the inventory section, so I won't bother doing the inventory section again, but I will just enter a couple of items again so that we can go ahead and see without actually starting, so that we can see how to record this. But we are going to enter few, not all. We are going to enter few transactions from here, right? These are purchase of inventory, right? We are going to enter some of these transactions, though we have entered few of them. We are going to still do something on that. So when we come back in the next section, we are going to do that. Hello guys, welcome back to class. So in this section we are going to be looking at how to record inventory item. Like, these are not initial inventory item anymore, these are purchases, right? Purchases of inventory item. That's what we are going to be recording. Right now we are going to record these items, and we are going to also look at how to record other non-inventory item, right? So that we can track them as bill and pay them later on, right? So when we do that, to do that, first of all, if you look at your bank section here, you can see that Quickbooks have recognized the 3.5 million naira we received. We received 2 million naira as our opening equity, and 1.5 as our loan from the bank. So that is it. You can see that it has reflected in our under our bank column, right? You can see it right here.
Now the next thing we're going to do right now is to record the inventory. So the first inventory item we have, right, the first inventory item we have is Stationery World Limited. Is from a vendor named Stationery World Limited, and it's the office stationery, and we need 20 quantity of these, and it costs 1,000, and that's 1,000 times 20 is going to give us 20,000. Then there is VAT of 1.5 on that. Then we have 21,500 as the total amount we have paid for that item. So we are owing. We have not paid. We are owing. So this is a bill. So what we are going to do, you already know what a bill is. A bill is when you are owing somebody, and we are going to record it using our bill, right? So remember that when you make sales on credit, what you are using invoice, and when you make sales on cash, what you're using is cash, right? Is cash sales, right? So that's what you're using. In this case, we are using our we are using bill to record that, so that we can track that. So what are we going to do, right? So we are going to go over again, me and you. We can see expenses and pay bills, right? We are not paying bill anyway. We are not paying bill. So if you come to your apps here, you come to your expenses, then what you're going to do is enter bills. So enter bills, right? So you click on enter bills. You click on bills, I'm still using the old times. You click on bills. So we don't have any unpaid bill yet. We don't have any unpaid bill yet. So what we're going to do is to enter new bill. So what you're going to do now is to click add bill, right? So add bill. So when you click on add bill, you click on create bill, right? The add bill is this green box you're seeing, green triangle, is it rectangle that you're seeing here? You just click on add bill. The pointer, it will show you this. You click on create. Now we have the option to upload from computer. Then if you have the receipt or the receipt of that bill, you can upload it, and Quickbooks will scan it immediately and fill everything. So that is the AI power of that. So you can do that here. But here we're going to click on create bill. So when you click on create bill, click on create bill, right, so it will open up. Now when it open up, the first thing you're going to do is to select the supplier. Now the supplier we are talking about here is, I am doing this because I already have this supplier. I already have this in Excel, Stationery World Limited, Stationery World Limited. So that's what we have. So if you type it in, you have it already in your system. But if you don't have, you can always click on add new Stationery World Limited. So you can go ahead, see it here, and click on it, right? So it has entered. Now the payment terms, we have terms already that he has given us. That means we must pay this bill in 30 days. Within 30 days, or exactly 30 days, we must net 30 days, we must pay this. So the payment, this thing is net 30, right? So that is a payment, the terms on the bill, right? So the bill date is going to be is on the 3rd of January. The bill date is 3rd of January, right? You can see it right here. You can see it right here, 3rd of January, right? We have the quantity of item, office stationery, and we are going to go back. Now we are dealing on items. So what item do we buy? So we have office stationery, is it office stationery or office supplies? Don't get it. So we have office stationery 20, office supply 20. Let's see, right? Office supply, office stationery. So office supply, right? So we're supposed to have quantity. Now this is another problem. We are talking about inventory item, right? We're talking about inventory items. So these are inventory items that we need to enter. So what we are doing right now is wrong, right? Because you can see it clearly here, is saying office expenses. It does not give us any option to include item, right? The item we bought. This one is just, we are using it to expense. We are just recording an expense. That's what it's showing us here. So what we are doing here, right, again, is wrong. So we are going to go back and look for the right option to use, and the right option to use will be to what? Create inventory or raise a purchase order, right? So I'll clear this. Yeah, I'll clear this transaction, and then I will close this. So guys, like I used to tell us that in everything you're doing in any accounting system implementation, that setup is very, very important, right? There is nothing you're looking for that you cannot find, you cannot adjust, you cannot correct, right? But you must always know what you want. Now we are trying to record this this transaction, right? Stationary wall, we are trying to record it. We know that it's an inventory item, right? This is an inventory item we actually want to record, right? So since it's an inventory item we want to record, that means when we come to our purchase order, or wherever we want to record the transaction, we want to record the receipt of that transaction, right? Then we should be able to see where we are selecting the transaction, the item itself, right? The item itself. But here we are not seeing it. What we are seeing is account, where the transaction should be posted, right? But we want to track it by item quantity, right? So that is why we are not seeing the option here, and that's why I have to pause. So no, it is not supposed. I should have seen the option to actually enter this as an item. You know, remember in QuickBooks desktop, we have two sides. We have the expense and we have the item side whenever you want to enter a bill. So you can choose whether it's an item that you want to enter a bill against, or you can choose whether it's an expense you want to enter an account. So this is an expense. This is, in this case, this is an expense. It's not an item section. So what we want to do, we want to call up that item section so that when we open this purchase order, we will see that option. So then what we are going to do is go back to our setting, right? We go back to our setting. So you can click on this gear icon, or you can just come to this place. You can just come to okay, the gear icon here. You can come to your gear icon here, click on it, then you come to account and settings, right? When you click on the account and settings, then we can now call up that option, right? When we call the option up, then we can now see it and select it by item, right? So it is open. What we want to go, the setting we want to do now is can be found only on expense. So you click on expense. Now see here, bills and expenses, show item table on expenses and purchase forms, right? For this one is off, and this is not what we want. We want this option to be on, right? We want this option to be on. So I'll just click on it, then I'll turn it on, right? When I turn it on, I'll just click done, right? So yes, I want to save. Why? No, I should save it. What did I do? So let's go ahead, let me check again. Let's go to account and settings, right? You have to read whatever you see in your screen before you click yes. So let's come to expenses. Yeah, you can see it's not on, so you turn it on, right? When you turn it on, why is it saying okay, we have to scroll down and save this option? So we have to scroll down and save it, right? So our setting is done, then we can click done. Now when we go back to our purchase order, right? When we go back to our purchase order or bill, right? When we go back to our purchase order or bill, right now we should be able to see that option. So I will come back to my apps, right? When I click my apps, then I'll come to I'll just click on expense, point at expense and bills, then I'll enter bill, right? So I enter bills. So I'll just click on bills, right? On paid bills, right? I want to enter on paid bills. So it's a new bill. I'll add new bill, right? I'll create new bill. So when I click on create new bill, so I have the option, right? You can see that before now we don't have this option, right? Even though I was using purchase order before, but now I'm using the bill, the options are still before. Now we don't have this category details, right? So if I click this category details, now I should be able to see item details, right? And this item details is actually what I want. So I'll click on item details. Now I have the option to select product or service that I want to charge this on. So I'll click on the what is the item. What is the item? We have stationery wall, we have office stationery, right? We have 20 of this. We are getting 20 of this office stationery, right? Office stationery. So just go ahead and if it is in your system, you will see it. But if it is not, you always have this option, right? Office stationery. Let me see what name we use before now. Stationery, right? We don't have any stationery as an item, right? In this place we don't have any stationery as an item. Now why are we having this discrepancy? Why are we having this problem?
it is not all the item. Remember that we are not selling stationery. What we are selling is not stationery. What we are selling are our product line are food items, right? Our product lines are food items, right? So these are the things we say: rice, indomie. Where's our inventory list? Okay, the inventory list. Before, let me check it again. Now let me open our item list. Now this is our inventory item. So in this our inventory list, we do not see anything like office stationery. Now, why are we not entering office stationery as inventory item? Right, we're entering those inventory items, office stationery, as inventory item because we track them. We track the quantity, we track how many we use. These are things we use internally in the organization. So that is why we are entering it as an item here, so that we can track the quantity that we issue to each of these departments. I will make a tutorial video on how to do interdepartmental transactions, though in QuickBooks there is not a specific module that allows us to do interdepartmental transaction, like when you transfer goods from one department to another, then you can try, because it's not sales. Now you're transferring within the organization. The QuickBooks does not allow that automatically, but we have found a way to navigate through it. I'm going to show you. But for the purpose of this class, let's go ahead and add that our item, and let's go ahead and add it, right? Because it's not in our system, you always see it like this, so we just add it, right? When you click add, you have to wait, then it will process and open up these options. Now it is not a service item, it's an inventory item, right? It's an inventory item. So your inventory item, click inventory. You can always add the photo of that item here. You can always add the photo. Even in desktop, you have the option to add the photo of whatever item you have. Then the SKU number is not compulsory. It is an inventory item, inventory part, right? You can just go ahead and add inventory part. This as a category. This we are the one that created that, so go ahead and add that. So the quantity, right? We don't have any quantity available. That's why we are purchasing. We don't have any quantity available. So let's go ahead. Now we are not selling this item, so there is no need of actually entering sales detail. We are using these items domestically, so we have purchasing details. You can go ahead and say, okay, this is purchasing, this is the office stationery, this is purchase cost. Now how much does it cost us to get this item, right? How much does it cost us to get this item? So let's go ahead. We say it's 1,000 naira per one, right? 1,000 naira per one. So let's add the 1,000, right? So 1,000 naira per one, and it's going to our cost of sales. Now are we going to add it to our cost of sales? Are we going to add it to our admin expenses? So that is a question that you will answer me in the platform. So are we adding this in our admin expense account? We're adding in our cost of sales account. Remember that cost of sales is for items we sell, well, admin expense is for things that we consume internally, right? So this is going to be on our admin expense. So we're going to add a new account, right? We are going to add a new account, and this time around the account is not going to be a cost of sales account. It's going to be on expenses, right? So this is going to be what here? This is going to be office supply, right? Office supply. It is no, we are not using this name. No, we are not using this name. So it's going to be office supply. So we are going to select the account type is going to be expenses, not cost of sales. Both are expenses, but this is a direct expense, and while the other is indirect expenses. So here we have only this option. Okay, because it's an inventory item, we have only option. We have the only option we have here is to use cost of sales. Now supplies and material cost of sales, that's the only option we have, right, in this case. So you see why we always tell you that QuickBooks Desktop is more a kind of flexible than QuickBooks Online, because here you can actually add another account that is not necessarily a cost of sales account, but here you are restricted to only cost of sales account, which is not exactly what I am hoping to see. Right, it's not exactly what I'm hoping to see. I want to see admin expense where I can be able to select admin expenses. So in that case, since I don't have it, there's no need of adding a new account. I can just go ahead and do with what I have. Now we have purchase tax. Yeah, there is purchase tax inclusive, so cost is inclusive of purchase tax, so we just leave it. Now purchase tax account is purchase tax rate is 7.5%, right? 7.5% on that. So that's it. Do we have any preferred vendor? Of course, if you have any preferred vendor, you can go ahead and do that. But we are done, so I will just save and close. So review your information and you do your save and close. If you are selling this item, of course, I will put price inclusive of what sales tax. Now this is one of the things that Quickbooks Desktop doesn't have. Actually, it doesn't have, because you have the option to either calculate your VAT manually and input in desktop. I don't know of the new versions of desktop applications though, but all I know is that from 2018 you don't have that option. Right, so let's go ahead and save this and close. Now when you save and close, it will automatically populate in your system. All right, so it did not populate because here is saying that we have to input add quantity on hand. Of course, we don't have any quantity on hand right now. As at this date, our quantity on hand is 0. So as at this date, our quantity on hand is 0. So let's go ahead and save it. Right, let's go ahead and save. So once it's done, it's going to populate in our system. Right, so we are done. It has been populated. So you can now see that we have the option to select the product or service here. Then the description is going to come here, and we have the item. Though the item we purchase, the quantity we purchase is 20, so we are going to add it. Now we are entering this so that we can track the amount, of what we are supposed to pay. Right, so what we are supposed to pay, so everything we are paying is 20,000, right? But here we are having 99% because of the rate, because of the VAT rate we included. Oh no, the setup is not inclusive of VAT. Sorry, right, sorry, that is very important, because what we have here says the cost price is 1,000 and the VAT is 1,500. So that means the VAT is added on this 1,500. Then we have total cost is this. So that is not actually what this is actually what we are paying. So we have made mistake, we have made an error in our setting. So we can actually, it's not a problem, we can just go ahead and say, okay, let me clear this, let me not save this yet, let me clear this again, let me clear this and go back to my inventory. Right, I'll go back to my inventory, and I'll go back to my inventory. Then when I come to my inventory, then I'll come to my inventory list. Right, inventory, just click on inventory. Now when you come to your inventory, you have to go back to that item. Right, when you go back to that item before you can actually be able to enter that transaction. Now let's review. Oh, this is what you get when you're using network to work, especially if you're in Nigeria here. That's what you get, because the network will always be bad. Right, so we have one item that is out of stock, and I think that is our the item we just added. If you want to see, you can click on see. Now let's see, yeah, that's the item, right, low and out. So let's edit this. I want to edit the price. Right, the price is VAT exclusive. That 1,000 is VAT exclusive, so we are not going to, they're going to go straight. You said here is VAT exclusive, and we're going to save it. Right, so that's it, it's VAT exclusive. That 1,000 naira is VAT exclusive. So we are done with that. Sharp. I see we did not waste time on that. So let's go back to our bill. We are trying to enter bill. What I mean by trying to enter bill is for you to know how much you are owing this vendor, how much you are owing that you have not paid yet. So we have these items. Let's go and do that again. Sharp. Now bill, expense and bill. Right, expense and bill. Right, when you click that, you have to come to new transaction. Right, you can enter bill. So what's the difference between what I did earlier on with what I'm doing now? Right, what's the difference? Now there's no difference actually. What I usually do, right, what I usually do before I did this recent one I did is I'll come to my apps. Right, this is the long cut. Right, when you come to your app here, you see right, you see expense. Let me close this. Let me also close this. Right, so you see your expense and bills. So you can just click on expense and bill, then it will open up this list for you. Then you click on bill. But instead, what I did is that from my dashboard, I just click on expenses and pay bills. So when I click on expenses and pay bills, the window looks a little bit different from what we usually see, but it's the same thing. So I can just go to new transaction, click on this arrow and click on bill. Now bill means that I have not paid for it yet, that I'm still owing. So I will say stationery. The name of the supplier is Stationery World Limited, so that is the name of the supplier. So immediately I select it, everything populate. Then our terms of agreement is net 30 days. Then the date is going to be 3rd of January. Then the due date is going to be let's say the due date is going to be maybe a week after, or the due date is going to, okay, because we selected net 30 days, it should be able to populate the date on its own, right? It should be able to populate it. We don't actually need to change anything to populate the date on its own, net 30 days. Now the bill number, I always like customizing my bill. So we are saying that this is January, right? So I can just say January bill number 001, right? So this is the number I like customizing, so that when I enter next month, I can as well change this to the next month. Now the item, we say the item is VAT exclusive. So from here you already know that is amounts are VAT exclusive, right? So we go ahead and say, okay, this is the item, okay, office stationery. Then we have 20 of this. Now you can see that automatically everything is this. Now you can see that it has added the 7.5% to the 20,000, which is 15, and we have the total amount payable is 21,500, which is exactly what we have here. These mistakes I am making, right, are very important, because these are the things you're going to face. You're going to see them as you're doing it. But if you already know what the result you have, because you must visualize the result you want, in your heart, so that whenever you see a mistake like that, you can easily reflect back and say, this is not it, this is what I actually want. So that is it. You can see that we have recorded this and we have entered this, and the transaction is correct. We can just review. If there's any invoice or any invoice you can attach to this, you can always attach the invoice. Just click here and attach the invoice. You can save, right? If there's any memo, you can add your memo. You can just say maybe purchase of 20 packs of A4 paper, something like this, just a memo. Then the date you confirm, and from here you can see that it's VAT exclusive, so everything is checked. So when you look at it, you confirm your transaction, you can see the amount is boldly written here. You can just save and close, or save and new. You're familiar with these terms. So let's check again before we do save and close or save and new. Let's check again. Do we have any bill to enter? Yes, we have another bill to enter on the 4th, right? On the 4th we have another bill to enter, right? This bill is also net 30, and this is the item we are buying, rice, 50 kg of rice. So we are going to do save and close, right? Save and new, I mean. So save and new, so we enter that as well. Now who is the vendor? Oh, select date that's after the date you started tracking your inventory. What is the date? Yeah, okay, let me clear this first. Let me clear this so that I will know what they're saying. Stationery wall is net 30, right? Net 30. So what I say, office stationery, we have 20 of this. So what I say, purchase of 20 packs of A4 paper, right? So what are you saying here? The bill number, I'm talking about January, and bill this, and then I'm saying, then let me just say B for bill. Then I will just say 001. That's my first bill, right? So when I do that, I'll just click on save and close. So why are you not saving? Select a date that is after the date you started tracking your inventory. Okay, now the date we set up from our inventory is February, right? So it's February, that's why we're having this date. It's February, so it's not going to be first this day, so it's going to be, that's why we are having this problem. So it's going to be February, and that yesterday was February what? February 7. So let's say February 8, right? So February 8, that is it. So you can see, so when we save this right now, it's going to save, of course. Must save, right? Must save, right? So you can see it has been saved. So our inventory was entered on in February 7, and today is February 8, right? So I'm doing that. Now the next item we are entering here, is what is rice, and this rice is bought from this person, right? Of course we should be able to have this vendor in our system. So let's go ahead and just type in the name of the vendor. If the vendor is already in our system, we will see it. If the vendor is not in our system, we are not going to see it, right? We are still on the view section. If the vendor is not there, we are not going to see it. So let's see, do we have anybody like that in our list? We don't have any vendor with that name, so that's not a problem. So we can always add, once you type, you can click on add new vendor, right? Add new vendor, you have that options to fill out the vendor's detail. It's not a problem, right? It's not a problem. So we have all these options. The company name is this as well. You have, if you have the email address, you can go ahead fabricate an email address. You can just say so you have, in your own case, you have to put the real address. The real address is very important. The real address is very important. Right, so when you're setting up, you have to put, so the details, you input the details, the address, and you go ahead and save. Right, you go ahead and save. Now what is this saying? Another vendor or supplier is already using it. So why didn't you bring it up? Why didn't you bring it up? So if you have it already, why didn't you bring it up? Then, sorry for using that language. If you have that vendor, why didn't you bring it up? Right, so if you have that language vendor, why didn't you bring it up? Okay, now let's see. Let me go back from here, then let me come to my suppliers. Let me see my suppliers. Right, when I look at my suppliers, I don't have anybody like that. So what are you saying? I don't have any vendor like that. So let me try and add the new supplier here. From here, let me try and add the supplier here. Okay, a customer with this name already exists. So this is the customer. A customer with this name exists. So we have a customer that bears the same name. Okay. So a customer with this name exists. When you're doing copy and paste, that's what happened. So this one should be NN. So this one too should be NN. So just fill out all this information that you have, so you can just go ahead and save. Right, when you save, it will enter your vendors list. So let's go ahead and enter that bill. We purchased from that vendor, we have not paid, so that's why we are using bill. So enter a couple of bills again. We're entering this bill. Right, so you have to be patient with your network. Now enter add new bill, create bill, add new bill, create bill, then you wait, then you select the name of the vendor. This is NN now, right? NN, this is it. The times is net 30 and the date is going to be, remember, it's no longer going to be January, it's going to be February. Let's say it's going to be February. Now this is going to be February. In your own case, you have to choose your own date, so don't use my date. Let's say it's going to be February this date, right? So February this date. Then the bill number, why is the bill number not populating? The bill number is going to be 002. right? The bill number should be changing on its own. I shouldn't be entering this manually, right? The item is going to be 50 kg of rice. Right, it's going to be 50 kg rice. So rice 50 kg, this is the item, right? So we have, how many did we buy? So how many of these do you buy? We have 40, and at the rate of 25,000, right? 25,000. Then we have the VAT is VAT exclusive. It's VAT exclusive. So let's go back and see what we have. We have 40. Now we also have another problem here. Now this is, we are saying that is VAT in our setting we say it's VAT inclusive, right? In our setting we say it's VAT inclusive, while in this place we are not saying, let me look at something. No, it's VAT exclusive, right? This is the option we don't have in QuickBooks Online and in QuickBooks Desktop, so I am enjoying it. So we are going to go back to our inventory and do the same thing we did, right? We are going to go back and do the same thing because this value is not what we have, right? This value is not what we have. So when we go back to our inventory, in fact that is your assignment, so you have to know whether it is VAT exclusive or VAT inclusive. So this is it, this is 25,000, then times 40, 1 million, then we have 75,000 as VAT, so you're going to be 1 million 75,000, 1.71 million 75,000, right? So that's what we have, but here we are not having that. We are having exactly 1 million naira, which is not what it should be. So here what we are going to do from here, we can say I can type and say okay 25,000, instead of just allowing it there. I can just type here 25,000, right? But it will mean that anytime I want to do this I will have to type it manually. So you can see this is it. Now we have that amount here, we have that amount here, right? So you can see that's populated and 1,075,000. So you can always type here, always type the amount, and you can save, right? So you can just save and new or save and close. Now we have entered a couple of inventory items as bill, which we have received them. That's what it means. We have received those items. That is what it means. So we have received them. So this is it. So your assignment also, to save us time, I will just enter these items, right? I'll enter this item on the background. Then when we come back, it's the same process, right? It's simply the same process. Now where I will come back is for this item that are not inventory item, right? And this internet subscription, right? Internet subscription that are not inventory item. Then I will come back and we will look at how to do enter those one as well. So thank you very much for staying tuned, and see you in the same video. So I have entered bill against an inventory items that we have in this list. Now the next option, the next thing in our list here is to enter inventory item, to enter bill of items that are not inventory items, right? Now these are bills like the electricity bill we have, that we have electricity bill pending that we have to pay. That's for the electricity we have used but have not paid yet. Then we have health insurance for the month, which is now which is 60,000, while the electricity is 45,000, and all these things are vatable, right? All these things have VAT inclusive in them, right? So that's what we are going to enter right now. So when you come back to your bill, right, it's the same thing. It's just that under this category now you have to collapse this. You have to collapse this, open up this again, and then it is no longer going to be item and details. It's going to be category, because we are posting this directly into the accounts that are affected. So we have electricity bill, so which is generally going to be under under utility, right? It's going to be under utility. Now if you look at our utility account, what am I typing? Utility. Now under our utility, you can see that we don't have any accounts under it. We don't have any electricity account, so I can go ahead and add utility. I can go ahead and add electricity as an account in that. So I can do it from here, or I can go back to my chart of account, right? I can do it from here. Then I can just enter add new account. Then here it's not going to be cash and cash equivalent. It's going to be expense. Now it's going to be expenses, then electricity, that's the name, right? electricity, that's the name, description to electricity. Then detail type of the account is going to be expense, right? It's going to be expense, and we are going to say is utility. So we have utility. Now we have utility, and it's going to be a sub account of what? It's going to be a sub account of let's say we have admin expenses, right? We have admin expenses if we have it, or we can put it a sub account of utility here. It's going to be a sub account of utility. Then we can go ahead and save it, and what? Save and close. Now when you click on save and close, it has been selected, and you can see it's going to be populated here, right? So here you can go ahead and add the description, electricity bill. Now here, what is the amount? Now we are saying that the amount is VAT exclusive. We say it's 45,000, right? VAT exclusive, right? 45,000 VAT exclusive. Then we can now apply the VAT rate. Right? When we apply the VAT rate on that, right, then it's going to give us the total of what we are going to pay, what we are owing as the electricity bill, right? When you look at it here, you look at our table that we have prepared here, we have the total electricity bill we are paying is going to be 80,48,375. So that's exactly what we have right here. So go ahead and click on save and new and save, or save and close. But first of all, we have to select the vendor, PHCN, that's Power Holding Company of Nigeria. That's our electricity company. Now we are paying this immediately. That's pay on due on receive. So that what we're doing is due on receive, and the date is going to be, let's just leave it this day. Let's say, okay, this is what, this is January. Now this January is 6, but we are not going to use January 6. Of course we know why, but we can decide to, we can go ahead and we can use January 6, of course, but let's just use let's say we are using 10. No, let's backdate it, due on receive. Then we go ahead and say, I don't know why this, I have to be typing this is wrong. This idea of typing manually is wrong. So I don't have the strength to be typing this view number manually again, because people are supposed to do that for me automatically. So I'm not typing again, right? So I'll go ahead and save this right now. This is for items that are not inventory. It's in the same bill, right? But the difference is that we are not longer using the item details. We're using the these other details, which is category details, right? You just click and save and new, right? We enter the next one, then we enter this next one. So that's how you're going to do it. That's how you're going to enter this transaction. So I will skip this. I'll just go ahead and do what, and look at sales. Now we are going to look at sales when we come back in our next session. So thank you very much for staying tuned, and see you in the next section. All right, guys, welcome back to class. In the last section, we looked at how to enter inventory item for items that we purchase on credit, we have not paid for it. Then we look at this for services. We look at we look at electricity bill that we are owing, how to track it until it is being paid, right? We have seen that. Now these are accounts associated with that. This is just my own account, the way I detailed it out, but I did not enter this description actually, so it's not as if if you have it, you can just do that. It's not a problem to me, because I'm just using it to teach, right? So this is electricity bill. I've entered it. Now this I have not entered. I say, well, you can go ahead and do that on your own, right? You can go ahead and do that on your own. Now in this section, we are going to be talking about the sales, how to record sales, right? We know what sales is. There are two ways of making sales. You can either make cash sales, or you can make credit sales, right? So if it is a cash sales, we already know that we are going to use what is called sales receipt, which if we are using Quickbooks desktop. Now let's look at how to do it if we are using Quickbooks online. So let's come back to our, let's close this, come out from there, then come back to, now this is overdue, right? No problem. So let's come back to our dashboard first. I like to always look at the dashboard and see if the changes I am making are actually reflecting, right? The changes we are making are actually reflecting. So it is refreshing. As it is refreshing, we are going to be waiting. So you can see that we are already having a net loss because there is no sales recorded yet, but we have made a lot of expenses. We have recorded expense of 45,000 naira. That's the expense we have recorded so far. Expense of 45,000 naira. Why is it only 45,000? Because they have net of their VAT, right? The VAT is already removed from what the total amount we paid. So this is our expense, which is not the the electricity bill we just entered as bill. We have not paid it yet, but remember we are dealing with accrual accounting basis, so you always see that even though you have not paid for it yet. Now let's look at how to record a cash transaction, a cash sales. Right, so from here you have your sales and get paid. You have your sales and get paid, or you can come here, right? You can come here and go to your sales and get paid. Then you can now decide if it is a cash transaction or if it is a credit transaction. So if it is a credit transaction, you are going to typically use your what? You're going to use your invoice to record a credit transaction. So let's review what we have in our Excel sheet. What is our Excel sheet telling us? Now our Excel sheet says that we sold to Okechukwu Limited a 50 kg of rice, 10 bags, right? We sold 10 bags at 30,000 naira to him. Then that's net VAT, right? Net VAT 10 plus the VAT of we have 22,000 naira, which is the VAT. So everything he's going to pay us is 32,500, and he paid immediately. This is immediate cash transaction. Immediate cash transaction. So that is what we're going to record. We're going to record immediate cash transaction. So because we are dealing with immediate cash transaction, we are not going to use the option of creating invoice. So if you come to your apps again, you come to sales and get paid, right? If you look at it, we only have sales transactions, we have invoice, we have sales order, we have product and services, but those are options we are not going to use. So we can just go ahead and click on sales and get paid, so that we can have other options that are in it. Now because we are dealing with immediate cash transaction, he paid immediately. Remember that Quickbooks have two options for receiving payment. Now when you make a sales on credit, you issue that invoice. Now when the customer paid that invoice, you are not using sales receipt to receive that credit, to receive the payment the customer made. We are using receive payment. I have explained that during when we are doing our Quickbooks desktops and Quickbooks desktop class. I've explained that. I've thrown more light on that. I've shown you the difference, right? So I won't actually bother again doing that here, but that's just it. I just throw a slight light in that regard, and we see how that is done. So because it's an immediate sales transaction, what we're going to use is sales receipt. So sales receipt. So you can see that if you point at it, it says send sales receipt to customer you don't invoice. So this is it. So you click on it. Right, when you click on it, now which customer, what's the name of the customer we are dealing with here? So the name of the customer is Okechukwu Limited. So I can just copy it directly here. I am doing copy because I already have it in my Excel sheet, right? So Okechukwu is already in our system. You can see it just populate. Now if you want to send him this to his email later, you can go ahead and leave it later. You can make it later, or you can send it to him immediately. So you can just leave anyone you want. In fact, you can actually remove this email, no problem. Let's just go ahead and leave it. So the payment method, he paid immediately, and he paid by bank transfer. He paid direct bank transfer. So you can just add your own method of payment. So I can just say bank transfer, or let me just say transfer, TFR, and I'll just save it. Like this, my payment method I just added. So I'll just click bank transfer. If there's any reference number, is there any reference number here? We don't have any reference number here, and what we sold is 10 bags of 50 kg of rice at 30,000 naira, right? VAT inclusive. So VAT exclusive at 30,000, right? So we say the product or service we sold him is rice, right? 50 kg of rice, and is 10, at what? At 30,000. Right, why we are actually typing here, because when we set up, we say that our 30,000 was VAT inclusive. That's why it has to net up the VAT and do all of those things you are seeing. So when you do that, you will see we have this. Now it applies the VAT, and if you change this now to say VAT exclusive, VAT inclusive, right? If you say VAT inclusive, so this is what you're going to have. It's now going to be how much? 32,005, this amount. But if you say VAT is inclusive, is exclusive is going to give you this. So this is actually the option we don't have in QuickBooks Desktop, which is very sweet, right? This is the option we don't have in QuickBooks. So VAT inclusive and VAT exclusive, we don't have it in QuickBooks Desktop, right? So if you look at it, everything is 3225, and that is exactly what we have. The press your calculator, that's exactly what we have here, right? And again, where was this money paid into? That's another thing we have to decide. So it's not about whether the money was paid that transfer. We have to decide where the money was paid into. So this money, let's say this money was paid into our Zenith bank account. So let's say it's paid into our Zenith bank account. So this is it. You select the deposit to. So we are just selecting the account. This is the bank account it was deposited to. Then you have to select, make sure that your date of transaction is correct. The date of transaction. So here we have what we have here. We have it's on the 8th. Okay, on the 8th we can do with that. So I can just go ahead and say, okay, this is on the 8th actually. So this is 8, and this is where it was paid into. It was paid into Zenith bank account, and just review your transaction and see that everything is okay. Then you can just save and close. You can just go ahead and save and close this transaction. So once you do that, we have recorded our first receipt, right? We have recorded our first receipt. Now the next receipt is invoice. Now we sold to JOB Enterprise, right? JOB Enterprise Indomie noodles, 20 packs at 450, and is VAT exclusive, right? It's VAT exclusive. So let's go ahead and say it's invoice. Now this is a credit sales, right? It's a credit sales. What we're going to do is to issue an invoice. So from here again, you can just go ahead and click on invoice, right? You click on invoice, and when you click on invoice, you can see that our invoice was pre-formatted, it was pre-designed. That's why we have this beautiful logo that you're seeing in that. So the customer's name is what? The customer's name is this JOB. We have it in our system. So we just go ahead and type, then it will populate every other information. Then the invoice number is this. Like I told you, I like to have something like this, so it's going to be this. So this is my invoice number, right? And the terms of this credit is net 14 days. That's the must paid within 14 days, and this is actually right, because you cannot be paying your vendors net 30 days, and you are also saying that you want to pay your you want to collect your money from your your customers in the same within the same 30 days. No, so at least your receiving should be closer, right? So here we only have the option for 15 days. I'll go ahead and click on 15 days instead of 14 days, and I'll have it like this. Then what are we selling? We say we sold Indomie noodles. So Indomie noodles at we sold, I think how many did we sell? We sold 20 packs, right? 20 packs at 450, and it's VAT exclusive, right? 20 packs at 450 and it's VAT exclusive, right? It's VAT exclusive. We wouldn't have been changing this rate if we did not do the setting to include VAT, right? If we did not do the setting to include VAT, we wouldn't have been bothering ourselves doing this setting. But because we did the setting to include VAT, that is why we are having this problem, right? So here I think we have this. Now this is what we have. So our VAT has been added. So let's look at it again, because I'm seeing a little bit different. So we have this, okay, 20 for 450, right? So 20 for 450 and it's on credit, right? 20 for 450 and it's on credit. 20 for 450. This is 20 for 450. That's why it's always good to review your work before you submit. To review before you submit. 9675. So 9675, and we have 9675 correct. So let's go ahead. 9675. So we can now look at the date. What is the date? And the date of the transaction, the invoice date is 8. So they can just decide to say, okay, this is going to be 8 as well. Let's just leave it 8. Let's work with 8. So you can just send for review. You can send it for review, or you can just save it. If you're sure of what you're doing, you can send it for review of the manager or the person in charge, or you can just as well save it, right? Save and new, or save and close. So I'm going to do save and new and save and new. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just click on save and new, right? So if I do save and new, it will save this and close it. Now the next transaction we have, I'm not going to enter all the transactions here. The next transaction we have is for net 30 days transaction, which is vegetable oil we sold to this person, right, sir? So I'll just go ahead and enter this transaction. I'll enter this transaction too, and it's also an invoice, right? It's an invoice, save and new. You have what? You have one or more errors. Fix them. Okay, now the company. I thought I have entered the company. What's the name of that company again? Now JOB. JOB is the name of the company, so that's JOB. JOB Enterprise, so that's it. Right, so JOB Enterprise. This is a new listing. The first invoice has been saved. Yes, the first invoice has been saved, so it's not it. Now this is the next one is NZ, the one that stops us from entering our vendor. NZ. So this is NZ. So I'm going to use the same date. The item is going to be what? The item is vegetable oil. Right, this vegetable oil. Then we are going to enter vegetable oil is in our system. Now how many was it? This is 30 at 250, 30 at 2,250, I guess. 2,250, no guessing, be sure. 2,500, okay, 2,500. So 2,500 is going to be 2,500, right? So it's going to be 2,500. We have this, then we have this, and the total is going to be 8625, and that is exactly what we have here. And the credit terms is net 30 days. Credit terms is net 30 days. So let's look at it. The credit terms is net 30 days. So that's it. And the date we have this. Go ahead and save for review or save and close. So this time around, I want to do save and close. Right. So these other ones, when I send you a document, you do those ones on your own. Right. Do those ones on your own. You go through them on your own. So we have all of this. We have Maggi, we have butter, we have flour, right? So when we come back, we are going to see how to receive payment actually made by these people, right? I will enter some of these transactions on the background. So when we come back in the next section, we'll see how we receive payment against these invoices we have raised, right? So this class is almost coming to an end, right? Because these are our daily transactions now. Remember, I told us that the most difficult part of every accounting system is the setup. So once the setup is done rightly, you can easily navigate through. So thank you very much for staying tuned. When we come back, we'll see how we can receive payment against this invoice we have raised. Welcome back to class. Now that we are done with entering the items, we enter sales made by cash. That's sales that we receive cash immediately using our sales receipt, while those that we are going to receive payment later, which is what we're going to look at right now, right? We use what is called a sales invoice, right? Now, apart from just the few fields we have used, so far, there are other things, there are other details apart from the name of the company or the name of the customer, the date, the terms of the invoice, the amount, the invoice amount, and all of this. So the item, we have other details. You can see this is customer payment options. Tell your customer how you want to get paid. You can just input your details here. People have drafted a lot and small for us to instruct your payment, same as for future whatever. You can just make it default here, right? Then you have a footnote. This is thank you for your business, and we have this memo will not show up on your invoice. So this is something you put for your own personal reference. So these are some of it. Then you have to if you issue a physical invoice, you can just attach it here right now, or the quotation that or the sales order the vendor, the customer sent you can just attach it right here, right? So there are other options here which are not necessary. So we have deposit is a new option for Quickbooks. Deposit is a new option for Quickbooks, so you can just turn it on, right? So it will show you, okay, this customer have deposited something in advance, right? So you can just add the payment here, right? You can do it, so you can just leave or do that later. Now we have payment options. All these are some things you can just go ahead and manage and look at all of them. So you can as well design your invoice the way you want it to be. So these are other options you can explore on your own when you get the application. So that is just what I want to say here. So leave without saving, right? So we also want to receive payment against the invoices we have raised. Right now, let's look at, first of all, let's look at our dashboard. Now you can see that our dashboard is now beginning to have shape. It's now beginning to have some kind of things that will give us joy, right? So you can see, right? So let it refresh. Once that is refreshed, you can see that it's updating. Now we are going to delete this 5 naira, this thing that Quickbooks added for us. We're going to delete it. It's not our transaction. In fact, let's just do it right now. Right? It's refreshing. It's refreshing. Right, so you can see that our income is now green. Wow, we are making a lot of money. So we have all this in our business. We have income of this, we have expense of this, and what's our net profit? It's positive, 60,000. Right, it's positive. So let's delete that 5 naira we are having. This 5 naira, I don't know. People just added it for a sample paper. So let's go to our customer. Just come to app. So come to says this, and is it transactions? I think transactions, right? So transactions. So let's go ahead and delete that 5 naira that Quickbooks added for us. You can see it, sample customer, right? So this is what Quickbooks does. So just click here. Oh, just no. So just go ahead and say no. Just they're just trying to educate you on what these fields are, right? So let's go ahead and just click here. Remember that deleting transaction is not allowed, right? It's not everybody that is allowed to delete transaction, especially accounting transactions. So right click and just click this arrow, right? And what is that? It okay. Now I can just click here. Now I can more actions. If I click the transaction, I see more actions. Right, I'll click delete. Right, so I can now this erases the invoice forever, and your customer won't be able to pay it. You won't undo this, right? So you can go ahead, delete. We are not going to enter that. Quickbooks does that for us. So that is that. Now we want to receive payment against these invoices that are due, or these open invoices, and we have them to be 3. We have 3 of these items, right? We have 3 of them. John Obi and O Ademi, and we have Nze and Sons. So these are what they paid. So this is the amount they pay. So everything they paid is inclusive of VAT. The VAT portion of the amount they paid, that's what. So this is payment in full. Payment in full, and this is partial payment, right? Partial payment. So let's go ahead and receive those payment. Now from where we are, we can actually do that. Now who is the customer we want to receive payment from? The customer we want to receive payment from is Oademi. Oademi paid us, so we want to receive payment. You can just say click here. From here we can just click receive payment, right? From here that we are right now, we can receive payment. But if you are in the dashboard here, right, if you're in the dashboard here, you don't use sales receipt to record payment against an invoice. It will not work. Sales receipt to record payment against an invoice will not work. So you have to use receive payment to record payment against an invoice. Then you use sales receipt to record immediate cash payment or immediate cash transaction that happens, right? So you don't use sales receipt to do that. So you have to bear that in mind, right? So let's go ahead and look at what we are actually doing. Now we want to receive payment against an invoice. Now what we are going to do, I can still be using these places, I can still be using these payment options. I can go ahead and click on sales and get paid. Now it will bring me back to this place. What I will do from here is say receive, click on receive payment. And when I click on receive payment, I will select the name of the vendor. Let's say it's O Ade. Now O Ademi and Co. So when you click O Ademi and Co, it will populate his bill, right? You can see that this customer has a bill of this amount. You have the bill of this amount, And what did the person pay? How much did the person pay? Now Oadeyemi is making a full payment. He's paying everything full. It's a full payment. So what you will do in this case is just check here, click this checkbox. It will apply the payment completely. You can see that the total amount that he has paid, right? This is the total, his total invoice, and that's exactly what he is paying. Now the date of payment, now we are saying that the date of payment is let's say he's making a payment on in the future, right? Today is 8th of February, and he's making a payment in the future. He's making an advance payment. That's what we're trying to say. So you can decide to use the same date, no problem, but you have to select the date of payment. Then the mode of payment, let's say he made via direct bank transfer, right? Direct bank transfer. If you made through check, you always check, then you put the check number for reference. And well, this is direct bank transfer, right? So he paid this money into our main Zenith Bank and GT Bank account. So he paid this into GT Bank, right? And that is just it. So once you select that, you can add memo to that, whatever. You can add memo that you want to add. You can attach the evidence of payment to this. You can just attach evidence of payment to this for reference purposes, and you go ahead and save and close, or save and new. So we're going to do save and new because we have another bill to receive, or another payment to receive rather, right? So we have saved this payment. You can see it as saved, right? That's been saved. Now we have this other person too. We have JOB Enterprise. JOB Enterprise also made a full payment, right? Made a full payment. JOB, right? JOB. So this is our JOB. What am I typing? JOB Enterprise. So it also open up his bill. So we have this customer has an open bill, right? You have to allow it to populate. You have to allow it because we know that this customer has an open bill. So why is it not showing us? Right. So it has populated. So you can see he has 9,675. That's his bill, and he made full payment. So you go ahead and just check this box. Once you check this box, and the method of payment, he paid via transfer as well, and he paid, let's say, into our what? He paid into our Zenith Bank, right? He paid into our Zenith Bank. So select where the money was paid into, that deposit to, and you select it, and you go ahead and save and close, or save and new. So save and new because we have another one to record. Now in this case, this time around, this person made a partial payment, right? He made a partial payment. So this is what he paid, and the VAT portion of what he paid is 2,813 naira. So he paid 40,000 naira. So his name is NNZ. So NNZ. So NNZ. So NNZ. NNZ. I mean, sorry, NNZ. So it allows you to populate, and you make sure that you see the value. So this is what he's owing, but he made payment of how much? He made payment of 40,000. So in this case, you're no longer checking this box. What you're going to do, you're typing the amount he paid here, right? When you type the amount he paid right here, it will automatically populate here, or you can type it here, or you can type it here. So it's still the same thing, but because he's making a partial payment, so you type the amount he paid, right? So when you do that, now you will always see his balance. This is what he has paid, this is what he owes, and this is what he has paid. So when you do that, you just go ahead and do save and new, or save and close this time around. So save and close because we no longer have any payments to receive, right? We don't have any payment to receive. So these are the payments we have made and we have received so far. These 3 payments. These other 2 are full payment, while this 1% is just a partial payment, no pay completely. So that is what we have done in this section. We record receipt of payment we raised invoice earlier on for, then we record the ones that have paid completely, and we record the one that have paid part of the money he's owing. So in the next section, we are going to see how to record expenses, right? We're going to look at how to record expenses. Now expenses, we have 2 different types of expense. We have the direct and indirect. Now the direct expense goes hand in hand with our sales, and that is what we are seeing on our here, what we are seeing as our expense under our profit or loss here right now. Currently right now, this expense you are seeing is directly associated, part of it, in fact 90% of it is directly associated to what? 90% of it is directly associated to the product we sold. That is why, remember that the only expense we have recorded so far is the 45,000 naira electricity bill. So the electricity bill cannot give us this 490 something thousand. So this is directly associated to what we sold. That is the direct expenses. Right now, the indirect expenses, which are the admin expenses and other expenses, are what we are going to record in the next session. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and see you in class. Hey guys, welcome back to class. In this section, we are going to be recording our indirect expenses, which is now the admin expenses, right? Now, in the previous section, what we did was we received payment against invoice we have raised earlier on, and I have done justice to all of those details in the desktop class where we were doing desktop, Quickbooks desktop, and under Sage I have already explained what those means and what they do, right? So in this class, we're going to record expenses. So this is how to do it in Quickbooks. Now, there are different ways. Remember, we have expenses we enter as bill. We have the ones we are going to pay immediately, right? Those we enter as bill are the ones we have not paid yet, we want to be tracking it, and those we paid immediately are the ones we record right off, we are not owing, we have already settled the people or the parties involved. Now, so this is what we are going to do. Now here we have these are all payments we have made. They are not bills. These are all payments we have made. They are not bills. We have made this payment. So we have the Uber, which is going to be a transportation. For transportation, we have the landlord, which is going to be office rent. We have the salaries, which is going to be January payroll and whatever description you're going to give it. And we have the bank charges for the month, and we have the cleaning services and office cleaning, which is going to also have this. Now these are the account that I actually prepare for this, but in our Quickbooks, let's see how it goes. Right now, let's go ahead to record that. Remember that in Quickbooks desktop, now we don't have the expense button expressly written as expense, right? We don't have the express button expressly written as expense. What we have is what we have in our expense is we have what is called write check. So you can use that write check to record immediate cash expense or any other expense you made immediately, right? That's what we can use that for, right? So in this case, we have all this. We have some unpaid bills that we need to pay, right? This is product, right? This, you can see what I was saying. This is purchase of goods. This is cost of sales, right? This is direct cost of sales, and this is our admin expense, right? This is the utility, which is the electricity bill we have not paid yet, right? Place here. Then this is our total sales, that's our total revenue. Then you let cost of sales, then you can arrive at the gross profit, right? You can arrive at the gross profit, and from there you can also see the profit and loss report from here, right? You can just click on it and click, you will see that. Now we're going to record expenses. Now this is no longer a bill, we have paid for it. We are not tracking, we have paid for it. We want to take a record that we have paid for this item. So we have to first of all know the account where we are paying this money for. This is what we have paid. This is the item, this is the VAT. So this is the amount we are paying, right? This is inclusive of VAT, right? This is inclusive of VAT. Now you can decide to pick this amount. You can decide to pick this amount. You can say transport, right? Transport. Now when you come to your Quickbooks, you can go ahead and click on expenses and pay bills. You can go ahead and click expenses and pay bill. Now you always have these options. You always have these options. Either you are paying bills or you are recording expenses, right? You are paying bills. If you are paying bills, you can just go ahead and select the bill you want to pay, and you click on pay bill, right? Or you select the bill, right? When you select the bill, you can mark as paid if you have paid it, or you can just click on pay bill. We are still going to see how to do that, but for now we want to record expenses, right? So it's no longer bill, it's expense. So you just go ahead and click expense. Remember, in desktop we have it as write check, but here we have it as expense. So click on expense, and when you click on expense, of course it will take time to open, right? It will take time, but not too much time, right? To open. Now who are you paying to? right? Who are you paying to? You are paying in order of who? You are paying in order of this person. You're paying in order of Uber, right? So that this will mean that you will have to record the name of this person in the system, but it's not actually compulsory. It's not compulsory. I must not record because it's a immediate cash transaction. I must not record it. Now, which account am I paying this? Which account am I recording this to? So this is transport. So I will go ahead and select my transport payment account. Payment account. Payment account. Which account am I recording this? We can say is going to be our transportation. So you go ahead and look for, okay, which account are you making the payment from? That's the bank account or the cash account that is making this payment from. So we are saying that we are paying from our GT. So we are making this payment from our GT bank account. Now GT bank account is showing this balance, right? So the date of payment, we can just leave it with this, and the method of payment, we can just say transfer or check. We can just go ahead and say check, right? And go ahead and say check, right? So then category. Now in this category, we are selecting the account, right? That's the account, this transport. So we are selecting transport. Now we are now selecting travel expenses for sales, whatever we are doing. So you can select travel and travel expenses. This is the one we enter. This is the one that comes to Quickbooks, right? So we are going to select one of this. So I'm going with this one. So you have to know which one you are working with. So let's go ahead. Now let's view it again and see. Okay, this is transport expenses. So we can rename the account to be transport expenses if we want, right? For here, I'm using this travel expenses, and that is it. So this I can say Uber. The description can be Uber. Now the amount, right? The amount is inclusive of VAT. So I can go ahead and type the amount that is inclusive of VAT, right? So then here I can change it. I say the amount is inclusive of VAT instead of typing the amount and actually changing it. So I just apply the VAT rate, and you can see it's going to give me the same thing, right? So this is the amount, this is the VAT, right? This amount now is inclusive of this VAT. So this is just it. Now if you look at it, this is what we have. This is exactly what we have. This is 750 as VAT. Then the amount exclusive of VAT is what is 10,000. Then inclusive of VAT is this amount. So when you do that, now Quickbooks already knows what you are saying. Inclusive, this amount is inclusive of VAT of this amount. So you go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter. But if you are confused, because you can see that even though you put this, but it's still showing you that this is it. It does not change anything. It does not change anything. But if you want, you can just go ahead and say, okay, this is 10,000. Now this is 10,000. Then Quickbooks can just change this to say exclusive of VAT. Then you can see the difference. Exclusive of VAT, right? So you can see this is 10,000 exclusive of VAT, and we have this. But instead of having these decimal places, I would prefer to go with what? To go with inclusive, and we have this. So this is the amount we have as VAT inclusive, and we have exactly what we want. And you can go ahead and save and close, or save and new. You already know what that means, right? So you go ahead and cross-check your work and make sure that everything is okay. Then you enter the next one. Now the next transaction is going to be rent. And we are recording 250,000, and this is VAT inclusive. So I'm taking the total amount. So this is rent. I will go ahead, go back to my Quickbooks and say, okay, who am I paying to? I don't necessarily need to know the person I'm paying, because I'm paying immediately. I don't have to enter the name of the person. What I'm interested in is this person, right? So but here you can, because if you start adding the name of these people in your system, it may fool your system. So it's not necessary if you are making immediate cash. It's just like entering the market now and purchasing some things, and you'll be entering the name of every vendor or every supplier in the market. So in this case, I'm not doing that. So I'll just go ahead and say, okay, rent. This is rent. Now rent expenses, that's where I'm posting it, right? We have other, okay, we only have one. We have rent or lease expenses. So I'm going with rent expenses. Now rent, right? So the amount is going to be this, VAT inclusive. So here I'm going to make it VAT inclusive. So it's going to be VAT inclusive. So I'll just go ahead and apply the VAT rate. so it's still going to give me the same thing at the end of the day, right? It's going to give me the same thing, just that you take note of this amount is VAT inclusive, right? So that is it. So we check the date, check the method of payment. We are saying we are writing check, and we're writing from Zenith Bank, and you can put reference number or check number here right now. So you can click, then you can add other details, then you can snap or attach the receipt of the transaction here. Then you can go ahead and save and new or save and close, right, as you wish. Now if you look at again, let's look at which other transaction do we have. We have staff salary, right? Staff salary, record staff salary, and this is 600,000, right? Record staff salary. Now staff salary is an immediate expense except if you track it before. Now you also don't need to actually get the payee number, payee name, so you can just go ahead and say salary, right? Because we already have this chart of account, that is why it's easy. You can say salary for January 2026, right? So it's going to be 600,000. There's nothing like that, right? So this is spelling error, that's why we are seeing this. So salary, no tax, nothing, just leave it the way it is, and you go ahead and do what? Save and new or save and close if you have any other transaction. So there are other items missing. So tax component, tax component on VAT on salary. We don't have any tax component on that. There's nothing like VAT. So just go ahead, since it's requesting for tax component, what we are going to do is to say exempt. So you can go ahead and say exempt, or you can go ahead and say what? No VAT, zero rate. You can say exempt, zero VAT, or no VAT. You can just go ahead and say no VAT. So you go ahead and do that. Now you do that and you save and new or save and close depending on what you want to do next. So we have not selected our method of payment yet, so I will go ahead and click here and come back to the transaction. Just click on that immediately, then select method of payment. Let's say we do transfer, direct bank transfer, save and new. Then we'll go ahead and move ahead. So that is how to record immediate cash expense, right? That's how to record immediate cash expense. You can see how we are taking it slow and steady. Now the next section we are going to look at how to record how to make some adjustment. Now the adjustment we are going to be making are on depreciation, bank bad debts, accrued wages, accrued utility expense, and all of those. These are just the things we are going to be doing, but mostly these are things we will do when we have prepared depreciation schedule. We know how much we are paying every month, right? We prepare the depreciation schedule on those items, so we debit the accounts that are actually affected. So you know that your depreciation account is going to be you're going to enter this amount, right? Then your accumulated depreciation account is going to increase by the same amount. So that is just simple way of explaining that. It's not necessarily, it's something we have to prepare the depreciation schedule, but if it's something you want, right, so just drop in the comment section, drop in the in the platform. I will get back to you and we are going to do it. So basically we are done with the Quickbooks Online. We have seen how to set up Quickbooks Online. We have seen how to enter our daily transaction, how it can flow, how it can help us. I've shown us different options and different ways of doing that. Different people have different ways of recording transaction actually, right? You can always find that amusing, right? That we use the same application but we apply it differently, right? We use the same application but we apply that differently. So you can see we have recorded a couple of transactions. So what happened? Let's say we want to make payment, we want to pay those bills that are pending on us, right? We want to pay those bills that are pending on us, those bills that are pending. We want to record payment of those bills, we want to pay them. So what are we going to do, right? So what we are going to do right now, you can see our expenses have skyrocketed, right? We are operating on loss, right? Almost 800,000. God, if you look at this thing, your mind will start juggling. So all you need to do is make more sales. It's not as if any transaction you recorded is wrong. So make more sales so that you reduce your expenses, right? So that is it. So we want to now record another payment, and the payment we want to record this time around are bills that we have entered, right? Are bills that we entered. Remember the same way I told us about the invoice and the sales receipt, that you only use invoice when you are making sales, you are making sales on credit, right? When you are receiving payment against that invoice, you use what is called the receive payment, right? The same way when you are paying bill, right? You pay with bill, you don't pay with expenses, right? When you click on the expense and bills, right, you will see the options. Actually, you see the option, which you have seen it, but I will still show you, right? So you see the option pay bill. Now if I want to pay bill, I'll just click on pay bills, because these are pending bills that I need to pay, right? I have how many bills here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 bills that I have to pay. So what I will do is I'll just go ahead and click on pay bill, right? If I click on pay bill, it will filter only those items that are bills, right? Those items that are bills, that is what it will filter. Then from there I can now decide which of them I want to pay, right? Let's say I want to pay this bill. So if I want to pay all of them at once, no problem, I can go ahead and pay all of them at once, or I can just click here and open the bill I want to pay. Actually, I open the particular one I want to pay. So if I open the particular one I want to pay, I will just go ahead and what I did now is I opened the bill itself. So if I want to pay this bill, what I will do, right, from where I say pay bill, right, from where I say pay bill, I'll select the account I am paying from. So the account I'm paying from, let's say I'm paying from Zenith Bank, right? So I'll enter the amount I'm paying here, or I'll just check this mark so that it will show that this is the amount I want to pay, right? Now if I want to just pay this bill alone, I can just go ahead and do that. But if I want to pay multiple of this bill and I'm paying from the same account, I can go ahead and just select multiple of them, right? Just select multiple of them. Then in this case, let's say I'm paying just 1 million naira here. Let's say I'm just paying 1 million naira here, right? This 1 million. Are you sure? All right, so this is 1 million. This is what I'm paying right here. Now you can see that here, this is what I'm paying. The total amount I'm paying is 1 point something million naira, right? This is the total amount I'm paying, 1.1 million naira. So that's what I'm paying as B, and I'm paying all this from the same account. So if I'm paying all from the same account, it is not a bad thing. I can go ahead and record this transaction this way. So I'll just go ahead and select save. Of course, you have to always pay attention to your payment date, right? Pay attention to that and you click on save, right? So when you click on save and new or save and close, it will click on save and it will close out from this place, right? So we have recorded that. So if you look at our bill is going to show paid. All our bill is paid except for one that we are still owing. So you can see this instead of whatever, you are seeing that total task and the bill has been paid, right? All the bills have been paid, we are no longer owing, right? So if you view your report, you will always see that. Now let's come back to our desktop. Now if you come back to our desktop, right, because those bill we enter has to do with inventory, they are going to reflect also, they're going to reflect only on the inventory items, but they're not going to reflect on our expenses because they are inventory item that we purchase. That's what those be are, except for what? Except for that electricity bill which we just paid. So you can see this is it. Now you can see this is our total money out from our dashboard. Why does it not reflect? So let's go ahead and just look at it again. Let's say this. Anyway, don't know why it's not filtering, right? So whatever, no problem. So that is our dashboard. As you can see, we have recorded. This is basically QuickBooks Online. So QuickBooks Cloud Accounting, this is what it means, and it has an AI features, and those AI features are the things we just did, right? The importing of the files and looking at how to automate some processes, right? Maybe in the next section I will look at how, we basically, that's the AI tools we can do. You can look at it, we can actually see how it affects. So with your understanding of QuickBooks Online, you can actually start seeking for jobs online, remote jobs. It asks you, are you familiar with QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online? You can say yes, I know cloud accounting and I know how to use QuickBooks very well, or Sage very well. Now it may be difficult for us to use Sage Online, Sage Online, because Sage is that you have to pay on the go. You have to pay before you start using. Why we are using this one? Because it's a prepaid version. That's why we are using this, right? It's a free version we are using for now, and we are using the standard version. Sorry, the advanced. Is it the standard or the advanced? Whatever. We are using the plus version. That's why we are having this option, and we are able to track all these transactions that we are seeing right here.
So that's basically what this can do for us, right? That's basically what QuickBooks is all about. Then we can also start a project. You can start a project in QuickBooks Online. You can start a project and start tracking the project as it flows. You can know where and how to share where the project is. You can start a new project, whatever project you're doing, type the name, the project start date and the deadline. Then you can know from there, you share it with your team and you know your progress, right? So that is basically it. But I'm not into project management, so I won't bother myself disturbing you about project right here, because that is not my area of specialty. My area of specialty is accounting, and that is basically what I have taught you, right? I have taught you what it is. The marketing tools, all of them are for marketing personnel. So I'm not a marketing person, right? Though I do marketing, but I'm not a marketing person. You understand what I mean? Now that is just basically what QuickBooks is. So how do we generate reports in QuickBooks then? How do we generate reports? That is what we are going to cover when we return back in the next section. So stay tuned and see you in class. Alright guys, welcome back to class. I think this is going to be the end of this class. If you have any question, you can always reach out to me through the platform, or you have my personal contact, you can as well do that. Now this is going to be the last section, right? The last section on QuickBooks and cloud accounting. Now to generate report, of course, by me looking, you know what it is. You have reports. You can just go ahead to click report. Now generate the report, just click report, and you have to decide which of the report do you want to generate. Let's say you want to generate profit or loss statement, right, or profit or loss account, whatever it is. Now let's say that is the report you want to generate. You can go ahead and do that. So from here you can see that it is even added as one of the favorite reports, right? So you can just click on it, and it will automatically open, right? Once that is done, you can filter from which period to which period you want to see the report. You can see, right? You can see this is the report, or this is the first time we're opening it. That's why we are seeing. And we have this smarter report with AI. You can go ahead and do that. So we analyze your data to uncover key trends and whatever. So this is the AI features. Right? You can see that the AI features are what you have here, right? So this is the AI. Anywhere you see this star, right? Anywhere you see this star is an AI feature, right? You can go ahead and open it up, right? So there's no new insight yet, right? No new insight. All these are transactions that comes from within a single place, within a single month. So there is no comparison yet, right? There's no comparison. So these are the AI features. There is no new AI features that we have right here, but if there are, you can as well see the AI. So when you are looking at when you open your report, you are looking at your dashboard, you can know, okay, this is what this transaction is, this is what this item means. So you can just click on the AI inside here. You can just look at it. You will now look at the transaction in details and see what it is telling you. And before you even open that, the AI is going to give you exactly what you are. Before you even say anything, the AI is going to give you exactly analysis of what you are looking at, right? So that is it, and that is one of the sweetest part of using QuickBooks Online, because of the AI features, right? So the AI features is also very important, right, in reporting. Now, so this is our statement of profit or loss. Again, a lot of people make mistake. The way this thing is beautifully arranged in QuickBooks right here, the way you're seeing it very beautifully arranged, that is not how it is going to be arranged when you extract it into Excel and you send to your boss. So if you extract this into Excel, let's say you export it into Excel. So if you want to export this right now, you can just click on this button, you click on export. So you have the option to export into Excel or export as PDF. So let's see exporting as PDF, what we are going to see. Now if you're exporting this as PDF, the thing is that it's not going to be as beautifully presented as you are seeing it. That's one thing you have to bear in mind. So there is always a need to go back to your Excel sheet and rearrange the report, arrange it the way, our PDF actually give us something meaningful. But if you extract this in Excel, it's going to give you something totally different, right? Totally different, right? So that is it. So if you extract in Excel, of course you will not need this distribution account, total. So all of this, all you need is just income. You have sales of product, this total, this cost of sales, all this.
then gross revenue, gross profit this. Now expenses, you have this. So this is beautifully presented. It is okay, it's no problem. But this heading, this distribution account, I don't think we need it. So you can as well export into Excel. You can export it into Excel. Just click export to Excel, right? If you click this export to Excel, it's going to export to Excel and it's going to download, right? You can see it right here, it's downloading and it's done. So you can open it now. Open it and look at the difference, right? Except people have done something new that I'm not aware of, but this is something you will have to pay attention to. So it's opening the Excel file now. The Excel file may not be as beautiful as the PDF file we have just seen. It may not be as beautiful as that, right? May not be as beautiful as that. So it's opening. Well, as it's opening, let's open another account. Let's open another report. Let's say this time around we want to look at the balance sheet. Now we want to look at the balance sheet. You can go ahead and click on standard report. You can look at this, the balance sheet. You click on balance sheet, right? You click on balance sheet, so you can look at your balance sheet as well. So as this balance sheet is open, just look at our profit or loss. Well, this one is a little bit more presentable than desktop, right? It's a little bit sweet. The presentation is what it is, nice. I think I am in love with this already. So you can, all these are filters. You can filter according to income, expense, and this is it. This is all you can guess. So you can decide to rearrange this in your own way. You can decide to rearrange this, increase the font, and collapse what you want to collapse. Let's say you want to only see the income, right? You can just collapse the total cost. Yeah, you can just see that. So you can see how. But I think I am in love with these new features of Quickbooks, all right, because the report is a little bit more beautiful than desktop, right? You understand what I mean? So it's more beautiful than the desktop we have, right? So that is it. And this is our income statement. Expand this, expand this, expand this, so you can see everything in detail. So you can see this is under expense, but in desktop, this report you have to you have to rearrange a lot of things. But in this one, well, thank God for Quickbooks. Now you have this too. We have your balance sheet. You can just as well export your balance sheet, right? So you can look at the inside. If there's any inside, there is no new inside yet. Why is there no inside? Because there's no inside because we have this a new company and this a new transaction. There's nothing to compare them with. That's why we don't have any inside. We can't compare period to period on how that is done. So let's see. You can see that there's no any period, right? So there's no period to compare with. That is why there's no inside. So the AI feature is always here for you to generate your insight for you, so you can compare different months, or different class or different unit of your business revenue with the other. So you can always do that. This is the AI features you are seeing. This anywhere you see this star sign in any application is the AI feature. You can either see it as a star sign or AI or any other or like call it is it diamond sign? This is a diamond shape. Is it a star sign or diamond shape? Whatever it is, so you can always see. So these are the inside AI, and Quickbooks is going to generate insight for you on that, so you can see as quickly as possible. You can as well export your You can as well export your report, right? You can export your report. You can export your report in Excel, right? Now let's also look at the the statement of cash flow, right? You know, we have three important statements in accounting. We have the income statement, we have the balance sheet, and we have the statement of cash flow, right? Statement of cash flow. Now this is it, statement of cash flow. You can just click on it here. Now there are other many reports you can generate. They are not limited to only these three. There are other many reports you can generate. So you can see from here, by business overview, you have the balance sheet. You have the balance sheet comparison to compare from period balance sheet detail. We have balance sheet summary. You have the cash flow statement. So the cash flow statement, you can just open it up, and this is right. So this is our balance sheet. Let's open it. So this is the cash flow statement. We have the income from operating activities. You can see beautifully laid out, and it is the way it should be, right? It is just the way it will be, professionally arranged, right? We have the income from operating activities, which have the profit for the year, which is loss. We have adjustment for non-current income and expenses. We have account payables, we have account receivables, we have bank loan, we have inventory, we have VAT control, whatever that is, right? So I think we missed something. We have to look at our VAT, how to record our VAT payment, right? That's very important. Our VAT payment, we have to look at how to record our VAT payment, because these are things we charge, these are payments directly, payment that does not belong to us. We have to look at how to record those transactions as well. So this is just a cash flow statement. You can as well export it into your desired format. You can export into your desired format. So let's export into Excel, because we are talking about Excel. So this is our balance sheet. You can see the balance sheet too is laid out beautifully. It's arranged beautifully. You can see it. You can see it. You can just, if you choose, you can just convert it into what PDF sent to your boss like that, or you can just do some workings, increase the funds, and you send to your boss the way it is, right? So let's also look at the cash flow statement. The cash flow statement in Excel, right? The cash flow statement in Excel, right? The cash flow statement in Excel. How does it look? Does it look beautiful? Of course it looks beautiful. These are reports. These are things that will take you days, weeks to prepare, but in one click you are getting them without wasting time. So these are basically the reports you can, apart from income statement. I don't think any other boss would want to be bothering himself about the balance sheet, except those that are financially inclined. So but mostly what they are interested in is their profit or loss. Mostly what they're interested is their profit or loss. You can view other report, right? You can see these are many reports you can view. You can see that inventory valuation summary, right? Inventory valuation, open purchase order, purchase order list, and stock take worksheet. So you can view your stock take worksheet, you can print it and know your quantity at hand, and you do your compare with what you have in the system. So all these are things you can find just in one click, right? We have these two in QuickBooks Desktop. We have this in QuickBooks. So this is the ones in the system. When you're doing your valuation, also your counting, physical counting must tally with what you have in the system. So that is simple as that. You have covered a lot of things. You have escaped from all this trouble of manual accounting processes. Plus you have AI assisted tools that will help you do analysis, right? AI assisted tool that will help you do a lot of analysis. So here you have your expenses. You can just click here to view the transactions, and that is just it. So this is QuickBooks Desktop for you, right? You can see that we have gotten the value more than we have paid for, right? If I was to charge for this class the way I'm supposed to charge for it, at least none of you is going to pay anything less than 50,000, right? But of course you get it for free. This is a free class. Basically it's a free class, right? So you have learned the QuickBooks Desktop, you have learned the QuickBooks Online, you have seen how to set it up. What is very important that you know and you become aware of is what is the setup. The setting is always very important. Now you can see that where our setting is having issue, right, is in the sale. It's not as if it's having issues, because in our own inventory we set it that it is VAT inclusive, that the selling price is VAT inclusive, right? So it can work like that, it can go like that, right? Otherwise you can just put a figure and make it VAT inclusive and everything just the way it is. So that is just it. Now you can see that this is the smart AI suggestion, and I told you that anywhere you see this sign now is AI. So you can just click on it, you can see track your sales total and see how they are trending. You can just add it to your dashboard, right? Add it to your dashboard, you will see how it is going, right? So you can see now you can add your account receivables as well, because these are the smart AI tools. Add it to your dashboard, the smart AI tools, right? Add it to your dashboard, and you can see that everything they are coming up. You will see how they are trending from period to period. So this is your total sales, while this is your total account receivables. Your current account is just 40,000, right? This is your total sales, right? This is your total sales, and this is what people are owing. So these are the tools that QuickBooks have made available for you. Nothing new here yet. Now check back later for new suggestions and whatever. So these are tools that QuickBooks made available for you. So maybe in the next section, or as we proceed, if we still have license to use this account, we can look at other advanced method of using QuickBooks, other advancing. But basically everything I told you is everything you need to know, right? And depending on the organization you are working with, the setting and the setup will be different, right? The setting and the setup will be different. So you have to always understand the flow of information in that organization where you want to implement this system. So you don't just go ahead and do whatever you want, and at the end of the day you get confused, right? You get confused. The team, the project, the marketing are not my business. I'm not a marketing person. I work with teams, right? But basically on accounting terms. So I don't have any business with all of those. So basically I taught you how to record transactions in QuickBooks. So if you have any question, again, don't hesitate. I'm always available for you 247. So thank you very much for staying tuned, and see you in the next class. If we have the opportunity to use Sage online, fine, we are going to do that. But if we don't, you can just make do with what you have in the platform. So thank you very much, and see you in class.